Jay Crawford, Adam the Bull, Garrett Bush, and so many big names, it would take me hours to say all of their names. The ultimate Cleveland sports show. Booyah.
On a LeBron buys a cheesy chain Thursday, here we are.
That chain is fire. I've addicted LeBron. That chain is fire.
You think LeBron wouldn't be, he's insecure. It's the most amazing thing ever.
He can be,
Hey,
yes.
bro, if I scored the most points, y'all gonna hear about that a lot.
Everybody's giving you the kudos, and he's buying his own chain. Gee, you love it.
I love that
the
chain.
LeBron chain.
Love it.
Well, we just spoiled overtime. Maybe we'll have a more interesting topic coming up in 2 hours. Mike, I just insulted you there. Any thoughts?
Well, I'm doing some research. This may have been gifted to him.
By the Lakers.
No, not by the Lakers. By the jeweler,
The
Eliante.
Lakers hate him. What are we talking about here? The Lakers don't like LeBron.
So maybe we'll talk about the chain in overtime. If you're not a member, subscribe because
Unless we
you're
think of something
missing
better
out.
to talk about between now and then. No?
We'll figure out. We'll do a little bit of that. We'll mix it up. But we got something at the end of the show that's not in overtime that G sent me yesterday. Shout out to Rutgers, by the way, G.
Yeah.
Shout out Corey. Shout out to the Scarlet Knights.
Yeah, Rutgers, man. Shout out, man.
Not any good at football, but they're good at track.
See, when he comes, shout out to him. He bring this top-notch gear.
That's
This
nice.
is crazy.
Yeah,
this
that's
has
nice.
got silk. It gives me muscles inside. I look like I benched 225 over 3 times. What are you talking about?
There you go. That's true.
But I am
You look
saying at
strong
the end of
with
the
it.
show, we got a great hypothetical G sent me yesterday.
All
that
right.
I'm very curious to see how
We'll
you guys
get to
will
that
answer.
later. We're going to have Jay again from Arizona at spring training today.
I'm on a flight in 8 hours and 15 minutes,
Jason's
so my
going
vacation
Jason's
starts
going
now.
on a cruise. He's destroying the set.
Whose
Yeah.
water is
Look what
this?
you've done here. I
this
don't
your
know
water?
what's going on.
I got yelled at for putting my feet on the
Yes,
table, so
that's
I'm going
not
to
good.
always put my feet on the table.
Just
Because that's how I
Can you
roll.
do it so it doesn't like collapse?
No, I'm sorry, I can't. The table's
All
cheap.
right, apparently not. We also have
table
Matt
was not
Underwood.
cheap.
It's a bad table. It's from 1906. By the way, the White Sox won the World Series in 1906 over the Cubs. Isn't that interesting?
My people weren't free in 1906.
Wait a minute. Bring them all
Jeez,
down.
really?
What are you talking about?
8 hours and 14 minutes can't come fast enough.
Oh, my God. Well, that was a long time ago. A lot of ugly things happened. Matt Underwood on the Happier Note.
God, gee.
He'll be joining the show for the first time in studio.
You think he'll want to talk about that?
No.
Okay.
Probably not. Probably not. Mike wants to talk about what? I don't know. The best bet of the day. My
Yeah,
bets
Bo, you
suck
lost
right
again
now.
yesterday. You have fallen under 500 for the
I
season.
stink. Don't bet with me
You
right
took
now.
the Heat. The Cavs have been your kryptonite, honestly.
Costanza,
You're
just
0-4
go
on
the
Cavs-
opposite of what
on
Bull
Cavs
says,
bets.
you'll win.
You know what? I'm going to break the losing streak because I stayed away from the Cavs because there's no Cavs game. I think, what am I, 1-4 with the Cavs?
You're either 0-4 or 1-4. I could pull up the.
No, I won that miracle comeback cover.
Oh, you're right. You were 1-4.
I'm
Correct.
1-4
Correct.
picking Cavs games, and I'm 6 and
6
4 picking other
and
games.
4 picking other games. So.
Yeah, okay. So then I'm staying away from that. So let's get to it today.
Yeah,
with
let's do your
Bet
bet of the day, and it's always Bull's bet of the day is brought to us by Bet Rivers. Bet Rivers Online Sportsbook is the place to be for every single game, ladies and gentlemen. Now is the perfect time to join Bet Rivers Sportsbook. When you use deposit code SPORTS, you receive a second chance bet up to $500. Get in on all the action with weekly specials on your favorite sports like basketball and hockey to help you win big. Check out BetRivers.com or download the Bet Rivers app today for the latest lines, boosts, and odds.
And my best, okay, the MAC tournament starts tonight.
Right?
I'm going tomorrow.
What's that? You're going tomorrow?
Yes,
All right,
sir.
very nice. It's always a fun atmosphere.
It is.
Here, I want to say the Q, but it's the Rock. And I'm going with Miami of Ohio, the 8th seed against the number 1 Toledo. Not to win, but to cover. Miami of Ohio has won, actually, I believe it's 5 of their last 8 heading into the tournament, even though they're the 8th seed. And they've, in their last 15 games, they've only lost by more than 10 once. Now, that game was to Toledo. It was to Toledo. But in the other game, they lost to Toledo by 15. But in the other game with Toledo, they lost by 2 in overtime. So they've played pretty decent basketball here. So and remember, you're playing at the Rock. A lot of times, even good teams, when you play in these MAC teams are used to playing in smaller arenas. Now you're playing in this big arena here, and you got to adjust to the
The sight lines are
right?
different.
So I'm expecting
It
like
makes
some
a difference. As a shooter, I'm telling you,
Exactly.
no backdrop makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
Right. So I'm expecting the game to stay a little closer. Toledo will win, but Miami of Ohio will cover.
I mean, Toledo's hot. They came in I think they won like 14 straight or something.
Yeah.
15
Oh, they're going to
straight.
win, but I don't think
But
they're going to
not
blow
by
them out.
13?
I think it'll stay just within 10. So
How do you shut the sound off on these things? Because it keeps
how the
dinging.
hell would we know?
I don't.
Did you just get that iPhone watch?
I lost my other one.
Jason
I had to
would
buy
lose his head if it was
I,
not
I,
his
lo- I did lose mine too.
I lost on vacation, so I had to go get another one, and now it's dinging. I can't figure out how to shut the dinging off.
Jason, this is the voice of God. Swipe up on it,
I'm
and
sorry.
there should be a mute button when you swipe up on the watch.
All right, hang on. Swipe up on it.
Yeah.
Mute button.
This is
the
stuff-
bell?
This is the stuff you won't get anywhere else.
The bell?
Yeah, the bell.
Okay.
Jason, I think you have to
right.
say 13 Hail Mary. When's the last time you went to confession?
I don't do confession.
You don't do confession?
No.
All right. You may need to go.
God,
I don't need to tell another man what I've done. I talk right to God, and he knows what I've done.
right.
Well, all right. There's so many places we can go from there, but I think we'll just keep it
We've
moving.
covered religion,
Yeah.
slavery,
Yeah.
and it's only 11:06.
Now, there was no
All the
slavery
things
in
you-
1906, by the way.
All-
There was still what's the word I'm looking for?
Jim Crow?
Well, yeah, but what's the specific word I'm looking for?
Sharecropping?
Segregation.
Segregation.
Yeah.
That was the word I'm
There
looking
it
for.
is. Right?
Segregation. We've covered segregation
Yeah.
and religion.
By the way, speaking
the
of religion,
1906 World
segregation,
Series.
and slavery, I was watching History of the World Part 2. Does anybody know what this is?
Yes.
I saw it just came out on
terrible.
Hulu.
Absolutely. There's a couple of parts that are funny. There's like 5 minutes here and there that you laugh at. JB Smoove is really good. But overall, it's terrible. And I love Mel Brooks, and I love the original movie, History of the World Part 1. But this TV show on Hulu is terrible.
Okay. Garbage.
Speaking of Hulu, real quick before we get to the Browns, has anybody seen, this came out a while ago, I'm just starting it now. I've watched 3 episodes. Has anybody seen this Pam and Tommy thing on Hulu?
No, I don't care about that.
No.
Well, I didn't really care about it either, but
I heard it was pretty good. I don't watch it.
It's like a movie.
Is
to
it the sex
it's a
tape?
TV show.
Is the
Yeah,
sex
it's
tape
about
on
the
Hulu?
sex tape.
No,
Yeah.
is the sex tape on Hulu?
No.
well, they show it.
Do they really?
In the show.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I was joking.
Like the whole thing.
They don't show the whole thing, but they show some of it. I mean, the woman playing Pamela Anderson's running around with her boobies flapping in the breeze. The whole
Are we
show.
allowed to say that?
I can say
Yes.
boobies. No.
Yeah.
Why not?
All right.
It's not one of the 7 words.
What do you
Well,
tell-
now we've covered sex, segregation,
Yeah.
and religion.
Yeah, yeah,
This
yeah.
is why
And the
this
1906 World Series.
And the
This is why
1906
this
Here's
is
my
World
thing
Series.
for anybody. I want to know if our fans, because none of these guys have watched it. For the fans out there that have watched this Pam and Tommy thing with Seth Rogen, to me, the parts with Pam and Tommy, I'm fast forwarding through half of them. They're boring. The best part of the show is the Seth Rogen stuff.
Tell me
Seth
Seth
Rogen-
Rogen is not Tommy.
No, Seth Rogen is, I don't know the truth. Who knows how accurate this
Right,
is.
right.
But Seth Rogen plays a carpenter who was working on their house, who got screwed over financially by Tommy Lee. He breaks into their house, steals their safe. Seems unrealistic, but I'm guessing at least that part is true. Because why would they make up that part?
Right.
And then he finds the sex tape.
Huh.
And this was at the kind of the dawn of the internet.
Yeah.
So, like, nobody was doing that on the internet, and he was trying to sell it to porn shops, but they couldn't.
That was like the first sex tape in the
Yeah,
history of
exactly.
sex tapes, I think, wasn't
And
it?
so, anyway, I'm only halfway through. But the scenes with Pam and Tommy are boring as hell. They're boring. But anyway, enough of that. Let's get to some football. We'll get to the Cavaliers, who had a nice road win against the Heat. You know they're going down tomorrow because they're going to be partying hard tonight,
South
right?
Beach is undefeated.
Yeah, they're going to
They're
be
on
crushed
South
tomorrow.
Beach tonight.
But they got the victory yesterday. We'll get to that later this hour. And again, Guardians talk in the final hour with Jay and with
Matt Underwood.
Matt Underwood.
Hey,
Jeez,
it stopped
forgot about
dinging. Thanks, you're
There
right.
you go. Anthony fixed the problem.
Thanks.
Well, let's start with the Browns free agency right around the corner. Aaron Rodgers looks like he may be getting traded to the Jets. This seems fairly imminent. As by the way, for the record, the guys who are franchise tagged non-exclusively, like Lamar, they cannot start negotiating until Wednesday. So there's going to be while Monday starts the tampering period, and you're going to hear about guys getting signed.
Yeah.
None of those guys can be. Obviously we know what's happening behind the scenes, but none of those guys can be. It's not going to become public on those guys until Wednesday. All right, Mike. So you've got a list of allegedly the Browns have 20 free agents.
23 to be exact.
I don't know how they have 23 free agents. It feels like nobody important on the Browns is a free agent.
It is a list of a lot of names.
Of about a
that
bunch
are
of
gonna go
scrubs,
through.
basically.
Yes.
So we're going to go through these, and we're going to do either guys happy face or sad face as to whether we want to keep these guys or. What if we've never heard of the player you mentioned?
Automatic sad face.
Automatic. I mean, hey, if you want to take a flyer on a no-name guy, you're more than welcome.
Okay.
That's your right, Bull. But what we're going to do is going to run through. I broke this into 4 graphics, 5 on each. So if we all agree, we'll spend 10 seconds. If we disagree, we go back and forth on why you'd want to keep or why you'd want to let him go.
No more sex talk?
I mean, you can bring it up
We're
with
done
some
with
of these
religion?
guys. But I'm leaving that to you, Bull. You're the host today.
I love God.
We could talk about the election. I mean,
I want to get into the election.
might as well. It's the only thing we haven't touched
Want
yet.
to talk about
All right, are you
Tucker
guys ready?
Carlson, January 6th tape? Should we talk about that? All right, let's go. Let's not do anything.
Let's take the first. This is the first crop of 5 free agents. We'll go down from top to bottom. Deion Jones, bring him back, let him go.
Wait a minute. What's what?
Happy's bring him back, sad's let
Sad's
him go.
let him go. Okay. Sorry, I have ADD.
What if you want to bring him back because everybody else at the position sucks, but you think he sucks anyway? That would still be
That's a
sad,
tough
but we
decision to
don't-
make.
Okay.
And look, G's bringing him back, so we already disagree on the first
You're
one. G,
bringing
why
back
would you bring
Deion
Deion Jones back?
They paid stuff for him.
Not hardly anything.
They paid something. I want him more than Phillips.
Deion Jones is like my size.
Here's my rule, G.
I'm taking Phillips. I take him over Phillips.
Here's the rule, and you guys should follow this rule as well. If a guy looks slower than me on the field, you can't bring him back.
I mean, he's not that slow. He's
look
not
pretty
that
slow.
slow. I mean, I'm going to bring him back. Listen, Deion Jones, is he that good? No.
You've been screaming all offseason. They got to upgrade linebacker.
But
Now you want to bring back Deion Jones.
I'm about to get 3 more linebackers, too. That's like saying you only got 1 candy bar, G. Bush. You only want 1. No, I'm 4. 4 candy bars.
I am in favor of 4 candy
Goodbye,
bars.
Deion Jones.
All
Goodbye.
right. We're
Reggie
bye.
Ragland is who you were thinking of, who was slower than you.
Yes.
That's Reggie
Not
Ragland.
Deion
And I'm
That's my
keeping
bad,
him,
yeah.
too.
All right, go ahead. Next guy.
The Browns are going to be a team full of linebackers if G's GM. Jadeveon Clowney. Keep
Yeah,
it,
I
let
think
him
we're
go.
all in agreement on that one.
Yeah, goodbye.
Nobody wants him back.
No.
Bye-bye, Jadeveon. How about tight end extraordinaire, Pharaoh Brown?
See ya.
Can I sell you guys on Chris Odom?
I don't even know who
I
that
have
is.
no idea. Who
Is
Chris
that
Odom
Lamar's brother?
Yeah, like, that's his cousin.
Who is Chris Odom?
A defensive lineman.
Bye.
There was a Chris Odom on the Browns.
Apparently so.
Do you know what's sad? If you're a defensive lineman on the Browns and couldn't see the field this year,
Yeah.
it's
Like,
going to be
how
tough to
bad do
crack
you
the
suck?
NFL
All right,
roster.
let's get rid of him. Unless he's a good pizza maker, he's out.
And last but not least on the first list, Chris Hubbard.
Chris Hubbard been here taking up space for 3
He
years.
stinks.
And he's
You
not good. He
know
wasn't
what,
good
though?
when he
He's
got
such a
here.
nice guy.
This is hard. I don't mind Chris Hubbard, but I think that they could. I'd rather them bring back Michael Dunn.
I would,
Yeah,
too.
move on. He's a really nice guy, Chris Hubbard.
He's an
I had him in
offensive lineman.
studio once on radio, and he was really nice. He brought his wife. She was really nice.
Yeah, I
feel
enjoyed
bad.
talking to him.
He's
And
a
he
good
can
guy.
play multiple positions. Like,
Yeah,
there's
but
value there.
It's time to move on. He's been hurt. He's barely played.
He can run for Congress then. Do
Well,
something.
let him run for Congress.
Yeah,
No,
there
he doesn't
you
have a
go.
big scandal yet. He's got to get arrested first. Then he can run for Congress.
Well, and he's got to lie about everything in his life.
Yes, everything. Tell
go
us he
ahead.
played halfback.
Yeah.
Okay, list number 2. These are some bigger names here. How about Jacoby Brissett? Keep or let go?
I'm going to say no. I'm letting him go.
Are we being realistic here, or are we being fantasy world? Like, are we taking contracts into account of what it would actually take to
Yeah,
keep?
but listen, someone has to
Yes, I'm factoring
go on
in
the side of
contracts.
Brissett, though. Someone has to make the case to bring Brissett back.
Oh, there's an easy case to
What
make
you
to bring him
mean?
back.
I'm just saying don't bring him back because I think he's going to be too expensive for a backup quarterback.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'll say bring him back because I think he's an ideal backup.
He
Yep.
is.
Zach Jackson made the case that they need a quarterback sneaker, like he's their sneaker, that Deshaun is terrible on quarterback sneaks, and they're going to need somebody else to fill that role. So I can absolutely make the case of wanting to bring him back. I
Wait,
just
is
agree with-
Deshaun Watson statistically actually not good on sneaks?
That's what Zach said. Zach said that they literally need a sneak quarterback.
That's absurd.
I tend to agree with you,
on.
but Zach knows usually he's not wrong
I
like
hear
that.
you, but like figure it out. I mean, it shouldn't be that complicated
yeah,
to sneak.
but I would love to have Jacoby back. I just
G?
don't think that
Heck
it's
yeah, I would like to
feasible.
have Brissett back. Like, I mean, obviously he's a very good fit. The guys trust him. The guys love him. Stefanski knows how to call plays for him in case Deshaun Watson goes down. He played better than we thought. He was, he's really durable. I like Jacoby Brissett.
Everybody likes Jacoby.
I like what he brings to the table.
Plus, I think he was very helpful for Deshaun last year.
we gave
In a perfect, if he could sign him for $3 million, he's going to make more money than the
Yes.
Browns can afford to pay him.
Yes.
That's the
probably.
problem.
But I like it.
Everybody would want
I
Jacoby
mean, Case
back.
Keenum made $6.5
That's
million
cool. That's
when he
right.
came
That's
here.
crazy.
If money were not an issue, I don't think there's a person in Cleveland that would not want Jacoby Brissett
But
back.
you got to put a face
So
on
I'll
it.
give the happy face because I want him back, but it's not realistic because he's getting too much money. So that means we got to let him go. So I'll give you the angry face for that.
Okay. Next up, our man, the second leading sack artist on the team this year, Taven Bryan.
Peace out.
I have a rule.
It's like being the second fattest skinny guy. Or
I have
second
two.
skinniest
I have
fat
a
guy.
second rule. Does everybody remember my first rule?
If they look slower than me, they can't be on my team. What's your second rule?
Second rule is I don't want a white guy on my defensive line unless he's great. I can't have a run-of-the-mill white guy. I don't believe in run-of-the-mill white guys on my. I'm kidding. No, he stinks. I don't want him.
You almost was for real though. Like I wouldn't be mad at that. Like, what's the dude from Williams is the last good one I seen play for
White guy?
Buffalo.
Well, J.J. Watt.
And Jay,
Wait a second. Bengals have two good white guys.
No. These are these tackles.
Kyle
the
Williams.
tackles.
Kyle Williams, last one. I mean, you don't.
What's his name? Who with the Ravens back when they? What's his name? The guy Tony
Haloti.
Siragusa.
Negata.
Siragusa.
Tony
Siragusa.
Siragusa.
The Goose.
Haloti Nana is he's
not white.
He's Polynesian.
Yeah.
So no, Taven Bryan. I'm sorry.
I mean, we've decided we're anti-white defensive tackles. We're kidding. but
We
not
like
really.
tweeners. J.J.
No,
Watt and maybe long. I like the
I'm out. I'm out.
All right. Yeah, no Taven.
I'm out.
Real quick before we go to the next one.
Yeah.
Are you more opposed to a white defensive tackle or a white cornerback?
White cornerback.
That's the great white whale.
Was Dustin the last white quarterback in the NFL?
Jason Sehorn.
It was Jason Sehorn and then
Sehorn
Dustin.
was legit. He was good.
And who else? Adam Archuleta.
Wasn't he a safety?
He was
No?
safety.
He's a safety.
Archuleta was a
That's
safety.
watch. You can get it. Like it's easier to get a white safety
Was
than
Dustin
a
a
DB.
cornerback or a safety?
Corner.
He was a corner.
He was a corner in college for sure. Did he stay corner in the NFL too?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
It's like the white whale in the NFL though. I don't think there's a single white cornerback, not a safety, a legit cornerback.
I mean, safety is hard to find now. You know.
No. But
Kyle Hamilton.
some of that
Minnesota.
is
Harrison.
just like
Oh, he's
back
black.
No.
He's mixed.
Who?
Harrison is mixed.
Oh.
On
But
the
some
Vikings?
of it is just like back in the day when black players were discouraged from playing quarterback back in the day. I think there's something to that these days with white players not being encouraged to play in the secondary.
I don't buy it.
You just got to be really, really.
You got to be good. If you're
You
good,
got to
you
be
can
really
play.
fast. Tight end. Yeah. Offensive line.
I mean, Christian
definitely.
McCaffrey. Are there any other white running backs besides McCaffrey
No.
It was Peyton Hillis.
Danny Woodhead,
currently?
Rex Burkhead,
Yeah.
Oh, Rex Burkhead.
All the ones ended.
Yeah, I mean they're white. Okay.
Kyle Juszczyk.
He's a full.
Juice
Don't bring the Jews into it. Leave me alone.
I'm Jewish.
I know, I'm kidding. Man, we are dancing the line of uncomfortable topics. Juszczyk's a fullback.
Fullbacks and tight
Fullbacks
ends,
are
they
usually
dominate.
white.
Fullbacks, tight ends, they dominate. In another position, there's not very many black centers either.
The number one center in the draft class this year at Michigan is
Interesting.
Not very many black centers.
Who is the Steelers center? Just retired.
Pouncey.
Pouncey.
Yeah.
you got Rodney Houston, excuse me, was really good on
I
Oakland.
think it's Hudson. I think you're right.
Hudson.
Yeah. All right.
I mean, give us white
racial
people something. At least let us be linemen, man. We ain't got nothing else.
You own the teams. We pay everybody, right? You own the government, the teams. Ain't worked out well for you guys. We got a couple
next
corners.
up.
we got to root for the right guards, man. That's all we got.
G, well played.
Kareem
Next up,
Hunt.
Kareem Hunt. Keeper cut.
I'm done with Kareem Hunt.
Yeah.
Yeah, hold on. Let me get my face out. Sorry, big dog. You're going to get some money, but not no money over here.
I heard a lot of screaming on this set about give Kareem Hunt the ball more. That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying.
Hey, listen, there was times Kareem should have been getting that rock, but not this offseason.
Will Kareem Hunt, let me ask you this question about Kareem Hunt. Will Kareem Hunt be, now we know Kareem, there's very few of these guys, so we know Kareem Hunt's not going to be a bell cow number one. Will Kareem Hunt be a 1A in a mix, a 1B in the mix, or a backup for his next team?
I don't think he's going to be no starter.
I think he's a backup.
I think he'll be
full backup or like a one, like a backup like he was for
No, I
Chubb,
would say-
or a 1B 55-45 or 60-40 split.
He could be a 60-40 guy.
Yeah.
He could be that. But he's more the 35-40 than the 55-60.
I think so too.
Yeah, I think he'll be a second back.
And I thought he'd be a starter before last year.
I thought he would
he'd be a starter somewhere else in 24, and now I don't.
Yeah, I just think if he had more left, the Browns would have found ways to use him more.
Bo was calling him a top 10 back heading
that?
into last season. You called him a top 10 back heading into
was.
last season.
He had, we didn't. I thought when we saw him the first couple of years here, he still had that explosion, and I didn't see it this year at all. I thought that was gone. We'll see. Maybe he's a starter again. Maybe he's rejuvenated. I don't know, but
All right, we're going to keep rolling. We got two
Yeah.
more on this. Chase Winovich.
Oh, man, come on, man.
you know,
Who?
Get up out of here.
that guy was a waste.
We all agree.
He's a
AJ
white guy on the
Green.
defensive line. He's automatically gone.
Yeah,
he's off
he's
Bull's
out.
team.
AJ Green, who did make some plays this year. When
Would
given
you
the
rather
opportunity.
have right now that AJ Green
Or the
the
retired?
other AJ Green who retired?
I would take the retired AJ Green.
I'll take this A.J. Green.
I'll keep it.
Yeah,
AJ
I'll
Green.
keep him. He's not making
As a
much.
depth corner, fourth,
Yeah.
fifth corner, I'm
Yeah,
fine
yeah,
with him.
you can do
Let's
worse
bring
than
him
Like,
back.
because you know, like Malcolm Jenkins, he told us a little tidbit. He was like, oh, when you're a corner and you make
Oh, yeah,
money,
yeah.
he was like, yeah, you're going to miss 3 or 4
Yeah,
games. And then
and Denzel
possibly,
does. Denzel
possibly.
especially.
I'm like, wow, that's crazy. You just admitted that.
I'd
but
keep him as the fourth or fifth, whatever.
yeah.
All right, moving on. Slide 3. We'll start with Ethan Pochich. Now, this one, we all want him back. But take into consideration what he'll cost. Would you pay that price
Well, to what bring do you him think? back? What's your prediction on what it'll cost?
Mary Kay said between $7 and $9 million a year.
I'd pay him,
I'm going to tell you this.
even though they're spending an absurd amount on the offensive line.
I don't run across no top 5 centers and then just get rid of them because why? Why you got Nick Harris? Nick Harris has been about to be up next for 4 years. Nick Harris is up next. Yeah, you can't
want
make
him.
it through the season.
I'm with you.
Give me Pochich. I know exactly what I'm getting. He's bigger. He's a little more physical, and he can ball out. Like give me him.
I think I was kind of poking around on Posick during the combine. I think we might be overselling his market a little bit.
I agree. I don't think.
Because for a couple things. Number one, he's had a ton of injuries.
Right.
Number two, it was 1 year. And number
Right.
three, it was with Callahan. It's almost like a cheat code.
Right.
Teams look at it and go, well, he's with Bill Callahan. So I don't know that I don't think he's going to get like a monster multi-year
Centers
deal.
don't get a ton of money anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it's 7 and 9. I know, like, I've talked to Browns players who feel like that's probably the range, 7 to 9 million he's going to get. I tend to think it's going to be on the low end of that.
I know.
So-
and if you could get him for $6.5, $7 million, why wouldn't you do it?
Yeah, I think if you can,
I'm bringing him back.
on another 1 year deal, I think he almost has to do it again. He has
Yeah.
to stay healthy. He had another injury this year.
Yep.
If he stays healthy for a year, he has another great year, then maybe he can cash in. But I don't. At first, I used to be in the market that he's really going to get paid, and I came away from Indianapolis going, I don't know that
Yeah.
he is.
I agree with Jason, so I'm keeping him because I don't think his price is going to be as high.
I'd love for him to be back, too. So, up next, we mentioned him earlier, but Michael
Yeah,
Dunn.
I'll keep him as my swing offensive lineman.
He's a swing offensive lineman to me. I'm keeping him. And then I got Harris coming back, and I could put him in one of the guards, too.
I'm partial to. This is no secret. Like, there's a big story written about it. Michael's wife is actually the producer of our podcast at The Athletic.
Oh, really?
Marissa Morris. Yeah. And Marissa is. If
You met her here?
No, they actually were. Okay, so this is really funny. I'm going to hijack this for 20 seconds, Mikey, and I promise I'll
you.
give it back.
Yeah.
Marissa, during the COVID year, texted Zach and I wasn't at the game, and she said, I have a confession to make. This is during the Browns game against the Steelers, I think, at the end of the regular season. And we're like, it's the middle of the game. What could you possibly have? And she said, I'm dating Michael Dunn. And we're like, what? And here, she lived in Cleveland and didn't even tell us that she was in Cleveland. It's just, there's a whole story on The Athletic about it, about Michael Dunn and Marissa, her battle with breast cancer. They're now married. She's pregnant with their first child. It's an awesome story. They are phenomenal people. So for personal reasons, I have to root for
Why don't we
Michael,
get
and I
him
hope
in
he
the
stays
studio?
here. It's kind of, I don't know. He might come in. He
All
might
right.
come in.
Well,
But
that's cool.
he's a great guy. She's
cool.
fantastic.
Since-
So I'm
since he
rooting for
signed-
Michael Dunn.
Since he signed you up, we're going to give you that. We're going to give you that. Listen, but you'll
And
come.
his wife's so his wife isn't from here originally.
No, they met in college. They
Got
both
it.
went to Maryland.
Got it.
But obviously they live here now, and
Right.
they're hoping to stay.
So
He's
we're
restricted.
in on him as utility offensive line.
I like it. We got 2 more on this slide. I think both will be quick.
3 more.
Jordan Kanasic.
They
What?
skipped Anthony Walker.
Oh, sorry, Anthony Walker first. He's a tough one.
I want him back.
I'm done with Anthony Walker.
I want him back.
How much?
He got mad at G because G said it's time to get better.
G's
And
changing
yet
his
you want him
tone.
back.
I didn't change no tone. I didn't say get him up out of here. I said we need to upgrade. Just because he come back don't mean he's starting.
Fair
I
enough.
don't think he's come back in a reserve role. I think he
Why
wants-
not?
Because he could start. He could start somewhere. If it ain't here, he's starting somewhere. I want him back.
And plus he's coming off an injury. I don't even know if he's going to be back 100% yet. But I will take him. I will take him back. I need one more linebacker, though.
Too injury prone. I want like a whole reset at that position.
Dang, that's a lot of people to reset.
All right.
All right, 2 more. Speaking
What's a
of one of those
Jordan
linebackers,
Kanasic?
Jordan Kanasic, linebacker.
Special teams guy. He's a jag. No
And
offense.
these last 2 is buy one, get one.
I don't think Jordan Kanasic is worth putting my hand up. I'm too tired.
Bogo on Kanasic
No
and
offense.
Greedy Williams. Come on now.
No
All right,
offense,
Greedy
Jordan
Williams.
Kanasic.
Greedy Williams.
No, Greedy's time here. is
Greedy's
done.
garbage.
Stop.
Greedy's done.
Greedy was not
make sure I
even
got the right
greedy.
one.
Greedy was very generous.
I can't really tell the difference in my happy and mad. They're kind of the same.
Yeah.
It's that whole resting bitch face thing.
And last slide. We got 5 more names before we talk about some
Okay.
potential targets in free agent. How about Taki, G? You going to bring back the whole linebacking core?
Man, I ain't bringing back the whole linebacker.
No.
That was a shot taken at me and my character.
Bye-bye, Sione.
Hey, by the way, I'm going to put
Nice
you on
guy. Another
special
nice
teams,
guy.
though. Special
That's a happy
teams.
face, bro.
I like Taki.
I like Taki.
I'm bringing him
Sorry.
back. I'm bringing him back.
Done. I
He
want
showed me
overhaul.
something last year when they moved in the middle.
Overhaul.
I'm gonna take him back.
You can't overhaul everything. You got to overhaul the defensive line. Now you need a safety.
Right. See,
I
I got
want all new starters in the front 7 except for Miles
this
Garrett.
guy. You know how many people that
7
is?
new starters.
That's
Six new
G.
starters. 6 new starters. 6 new
And
starters.
a safety? 7?
That's 7.
That's 7, yeah.
That's crazy.
7, including safety, yeah.
All right.
Next up, Dearness Johnson.
Time to go, Dearness. Oh, wrong one. Dearness, time to go.
Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I want him back.
For real?
What?
Yeah, as the third back. Why not? I'd take him over Demetric Felton
Why?
because he's better than Demetric Felton.
You don't have to.
I think they're gonna. I think they go get a cheap veteran
I think they're going.
who's like a good pass
Dearness
blocker.
Johnson is cheap.
You know who's going
Is
to
he a good
actually?
pass blocker though.
He's good. He's got good hands.
You know who's
Catching
going to
passes.
actually make the team this year? Kelly. Kelly for the last 2 years.
Oh yeah.
He's a running back with a
training.
40s.
Oh,
stop.
Running back with a 40s number. He will make the squad this year. Dearness Johnson. We're gonna give you all of your reps and your 401k to my man.
I want
Jerome
Dearness
Ford.
back as a special teams guy and a third back, depth back.
How about Ronnie Harrison? Safety.
No,
Come on,
he's no
His
good.
course has been
Come on.
completed.
come on.
No.
Jesse James?
The
I
shooter?
forgot
Tight
Jesse
end?
James was even on the team last year.
Yeah, I thought you meant the bank robber.
I thought
How
that.
many catches did Jesse James have?
I
He
thought
had
that.
1 target.
No.
But he
stop.
was listed officially on the Browns roster.
What do I need him for?
Yeah,
Come on.
And
No.
last but not least, Stephen Weatherly.
you made that up.
Don't know who he is.
You made
I
him
had,
up.
I had to show Earl that he really was on the Spotrac free agent
Let's see
roster.
if we can guess what position he played. I'm gonna say.
I covered every single game, and I don't know who Steve
Well, you didn't know that. There was another guy earlier we didn't know either. Not Kanasic.
Guess the position.
I'm gonna say offensive line.
Incorrect.
defensive line.
Correct.
Oh, look at you. There was another defensive lineman we didn't know.
Get that
before.
guy up out of here.
Bring back Stephen Weatherly. I love Stephen Weatherly.
Make America great
that
again with
F he
Stephen
is,
Weatherly.
So what we came to the conclusion of is G. Bush wants to sign 4 linebackers in free agency and bring back the entire linebacker corps and start the
wants
Browns defense
17
in Jim Schwartz
linebackers.
era with 8 linebackers on the roster. G, I actually endorse your idea.
I need somebody gonna weed each other out. I'm sorry, I cannot go in with Taki getting hurt and Phillips hurt, and then we getting these Jews off the street. No,
G thinks this is like 1976. There's 8 weeks.
It's
of
like-
training
it's
camp,
like
6
in-
preseason games.
It's like in baseball when they go all relievers, G's going all linebackers.
Yeah.
all backers.
It's like the Tampa Bay Rays.
I gotta do
So
something.
what do you guys think about the report that Mary Kay put out last night? Our good friend Mary Kay Cabot of Cleveland.com, that on the Browns wish list.
Yeah.
We'll focus on 2 today, or 2 Eagles who we haven't mentioned yet. It sounds
Yeah.
like everyone on the Eagles is rumored to be interested in rejoining Jim Schwartz. Javon Hargrave and Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Listen, anybody that played any kind of legitimate snaps on the Eagles is worthy of talking about. So Mary Kay has reported a lot of different players that the Browns are interested in. Of course, they're going to be interested in a lot of different players, especially guys on the defensive line. But guys, I would say anybody that played at all for Philadelphia is worth looking at because obviously they're pretty good.
I like Javon Hargrave.
He'd be a great addition. But
Yeah, if I have to pick between the two, I'm taking Hargrave.
Man, I don't see
Defensive line's far more premium of a position.
Yeah, give me Hargrave, and plus I don't like all these hyphen names. You got married once. One person's name was on the birth certificate, dog. I'm not hyphenating none of that, man. Give me Hargraves. I like him. He's a much more of a every down type player. The Browns keep trying to get back into this mode where they want to look at corners. Yeah, you ever go to the grocery store, right? And you get to the and you know you need a plethora of things, and every time you go, you just keep getting the same old steaks. You're like, bro, your wife's like, but we have steaks in the freezer. But I'm just saying, honey, these are great cut and these are on sale.
Yeah.
I can get these. She's like, no, you don't got no chicken, you have no poultry, you have none of this stuff. And then you keep going to get these steaks. Why do the Browns love corners. They love DBs. They good at drafting DBs. They got 96 DBs. All the DBs don't even want to play the DB positions.
Yeah.
And they still interested in them. I know you are. It's great.
Yeah, we don't need it. Yeah, that's a good point.
He's a hybrid nickel safety corner. He plays all the secondary. He's not strictly a cornerback.
I mean,
we have AJ Green.
the Browns have 3 starting corners.
Right.
Unless they're going to trade one.
I don't want to invest a ton of money in free agency in the secondary. I said that the other day, especially at safety. I'm not on the Jesse Bates $14 million trade.
Me either.
I
There's
think
far more pressing needs.
I think they got to add a safety, but like you add a $4 million safety,
Yeah.
not a $15 million.
You can find a safety in the draft.
Yeah. Usually.
Third round, you can
Right.
find a safety.
Yeah, the Browns need to spend their money on wide receiver, the biggest money on wide receiver and D line, in my opinion,
Absolutely.
and then linebacker before you spend anything on in the secondary.
Yeah. So give me Hargrave.
All in agreement.
Let me ask you this way: Bates
Yeah.
for 14, Chauncey Gardner-Johnson for 6. Are you taking the cheaper option, or at that point do you think Bates is worth spending the extra money?
Neither.
I'm not even sure how good Chauncey, whatever Gardner is, to be honest. I'm just assuming because he's played for Philadelphia, he's decent, but I don't know.
He's a good player.
I'm not an authority on him. I wasn't following him closely. But the Browns spending $14 million on a safety doesn't make sense.
It just really kind of don't. Like,
You got a
it
$12 million
doesn't.
safety you just cut and moved on from.
Yeah, and Bates is better than Johnson, but Johnson was overpaid based on his production. So, like, Bates is good, and it's a big upgrade if you sign him. I get it. I just don't think I don't think they're going to do it. So I'd be stunned if the Browns, again, invest that kind of money at safety.
Into safety?
I just don't think it makes any sense.
It tells you exactly what you need to know when you look at the production as a safety. The Browns had the 2 top tacklers were Delpit and Johnson.
Right.
And we would find times that they didn't even want to tackle nobody. So what does that mean about
Well, that's a bad sign
That's
for
a
team.
huge
When
sign.
your safeties are your leading tacklers.
That's terrible.
It's a bad
not good.
defense.
That's
Yeah.
horrible. So, I'm not really interested in doing that. Go give me one of these. Go give me a linebacker and some D tackles and an edge rusher.
Look at that. 2 safeties by far were your leading
gosh.
tacklers by a wide
Now,
margin.
the linebackers did miss some games, but
And the corners in the top 5. 2 safeties in the corner are your top tacklers.
yeah.
It's
That's-
not a good look. They're the only team in the league, by the way. We went through this maybe 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
That had that orientation of top tacklers.
What were the
My
tackles
God.
per game?
I
Because
don't know off the top of my head. Give
Taki
me a sec.
and JOK did miss games. I wonder if they would be 1 and 2 if we did tackles per game.
Hold on. Let's see if I can sort that out real quick.
That's another problem. Your linebackers is always out. JOK is always injured.
And Anthony Walker's been injured a lot. So
Injuries are also part of the game. Like
Yes, they
everybody
are.
gets hurt.
right.
Everybody gets hurt.
I'm still hurt.
That's
Today.
true.
So we just did the quick math.
Yeah.
Taki had 71 tackles in 12 games, which
Yeah.
came out to just under 6
Six.
tackles a game.
Yeah.
You multiply that by 17, gives you 101 tackles, which Steve pulled up 77 again, real quick.
So he would have
101
been
tackles,
third,
I
but it
think
would have been
rank
close.
tied for second. So essentially in that same.
I'm tied for second. So.
But they're not on a path to significantly out tackle.
No,
anyone
and
else.
you don't know that he would have kept up that
pace. Right,
anyway.
right.
So who knows? But
Man, that's bad. That's horrible. Oh my God.
Yeah. It's not good. It's
Yeah,
not good.
yeah.
All right, Mikey, what do you got for us?
We're going to talk about BetJack real quick because,
Yeah.
Bull, I know we don't always win our bets, but we do appreciate BetJack for always having
Absolutely.
our backs when it comes to the latest lines, odds, and boosts. The time is now, Ohio sports fans. Sports betting is live. Download the BetJack app today so you'll be ready to go with all the action. BetJack, it is Ohio Sportsbook, and I bet you a ton of people will be betting on Miami in the rematch tomorrow night between the Cavs and the Heat because, as Jason alluded to earlier, South Beach stays undefeated.
Guys, before we get to that specifically, do we have any emotions about Kevin Love playing for Miami? Because I don't know if it's just me. I root for the Cavs. They have become my favorite basketball team because I didn't have a favorite NBA team before I moved here. I was very excited when the Cavs won a championship. The parade is one of the most memorable days of my life. But I wasn't born and raised a Cavs fan, so I'm never going to have that emotion for the team the same way that somebody was. I have zero emotion for Kevin Love. Like everybody's like, oh, Kevin, oh my God. People are like crying over him leaving, and it's like, I don't get it.
Are they really crying?
People are crying. The ladies of Cleveland especially
wow.
are crying. Are you, is anybody, I know, Jason, you're emotionless.
I am a dead soul.
G, are you emotional about Kevin Love and you don't give a rat's ass?
Man, nah, man. He was out there. First of all, he was looking nasty out there with them gray sleeves underneath, bro. When you got them gray sleeves on the white jerseys, Kevin Love.
Do we have a picture of that?
Good gracious. He's looking nasty in this jersey. Hey, yeah, he's not, he came out there. He did what he ran from three-point line to three-point line. And the crazy part about it is, oh, that's nasty.
Oh, my God.
What are you wearing that? That ain't it.
That's like one of the dads playing rec ball at Rocky River.
He's missing the goggles.
He got a corduroy shirt underneath there, bro, a button up.
How did I not notice that?
That is horrible. By the way, how did they not notice Donovan Mitchell was guarding him on switches? And he got 8 points. The Cavs were like, you know what? Forget it. We'll just have Donovan guard you so he can get as much rest on defense as possible so he can be ready in the fourth quarter. And he could not exploit it. He just couldn't do it.
Well, the whole Kevin thing, it was very uncomfortable for the Cavs. Like, internally, it was difficult to navigate, given what he's meant to the organization, the role he's held, and them just not thinking he can play anymore. And him clearly, and he, I mean, we said it on the show. I said it when we reported the story, and he said it yesterday.
Yeah.
He wants to play. He thinks he can still play. He wants another contract. Like, he's got to play to get another contract. So that's kind of why he wanted out. I think he undersold, given what he said last night. Obviously, I wasn't there, but given some of the comments, I think he undersold how upset he was with the organization. I think there's a lot more hard feelings there. Just how the whole thing went down from the communication, how it all went down to benching him. I think there's a lot of hard feelings, but I don't think it's anything that time won't, like a little time and distance, everything will be fine. But he was not happy when he left here, and I think he kind of downplayed that, and I understand why a little bit last night.
Based on what you know, did they handle it poorly?
We don't know yet. Like, we have to – I'll tell you what, Dean Wade hasn't played well.
No. I don't mean from that perspective in terms of should they or should they have not taken him out of the rotation.
Yeah.
The way he says the communication was bad.
Yeah.
Is he being fair? Like, how, as far as you know,
I don't know.
Was he unfairly treated in terms of how it was communicated? If the team decides they don't want to play him, that's their decision. That's fine.
Right.
But as a veteran who's done as much, he deserves some good communication.
And I don't know the Cavs side of it to that point.
Gotcha.
I know he feels like it wasn't expressed to him the way that it was going down or the way that it was going to play out. Well, if that's true or not, I don't know.
Right.
I do think for the most part the Cavs have been very good to him, from the contract to being patient with some of the outbursts and everything else. Like, they ultimately, I think they did right by him, but this was a big gamble. Like, he's a veteran with playoff experience, and to move on from him like that and say you can't play, you're done, and now the guy that they gave the minutes to in Dean Wade, Dean hadn't played very well.
No.
So there's risk involved here, and if Dean flops in the playoffs, I think we can look back and say, did they make the right decision or not?
Right.
But we're just not there yet. We just don't have all the information yet.
And from what I saw Kevin Love give you, the play of the basketball is going to speed up. They're going to ratchet that speed up. And they're not going to be giving you every call either. So a lot of the stuff Kevin Love do well, like take charges, they might not even honor that. Like, hey, bro, You're going to have to stop laying around on the ground all the time and play some defense.
Yeah.
That might be out of here. And if he ain't hitting a three-point shot, I mean.
He has to make threes to be playable in a postseason
Right.
series. If he's not making shots, he's not helping you.
In the end, it's bad if the Cavs did not communicate properly. However, they paid him an absurd contract.
Yeah.
An absurd contract that they had no business, that no other team in the league would have done. He was clearly not worthy of it, and at times was a bad teammate during that contract.
And there was like internally there was people telling him, do not sign him to this contract.
Right.
What do you like? That was not a unanimous decision to give him that contract.
So I don't think he should be that mad about the Cavs against the Cavs when he stole money from them.
Well, I don't think he stole money from them, but it certainly didn't go the way.
I'm saying he stole it.
It didn't go the way either side wanted it to go, certainly. Yeah. And I think he's disappointed in how it ended. I talked to him. We talked about this on the show. I thought he was going to end his career here. Like, that's what he wanted to do. And obviously it didn't work out that way. It happens.
In the chat, our fans, I would like to hear from some fans that are emotional. Is there people feeling emotional about Kevin Love?
We just put a poll up literally a minute ago saying, were you emotional about Kevin Love leaving? We'll give you the results.
Well, it should be time to end it. It's been a minute.
I understand when LeBron leaves, being emotional about that.
I think Kevin Love, and I read a story from Chris Manning of Locked On Cavs podcast about how Love really helped people with the mental health side of things, and that was his connection.
That was great.
I'm saying that was his connection to a lot of fans, more than necessarily the championship he helped.
I get that. As someone who was, takes medication myself for anxiety, I'll admit that. I don't think I've ever admitted that before, that I take anxiety medication, stress medication, and has used therapy my whole adult life. I have a lot of respect for Kevin Love for that. And I understand how people would feel that way, but to me that has nothing to do with him being on the Cavs or not. I'm just saying, as a fan of the Cavs, are you emotional about him leaving? And I felt no emotion about it, but like I said, I didn't grow up rooting for the Cavs.
A lot of people in the chat. Let's see what we got
what
here.
saying here.
Let me see.
And G, after the chat, I'm going to read some quotes from Kevin Love here.
But the chat is brought to you by PCC, isn't it?
That is correct. And anytime we read the chat, whether it's myself or G Bush, it's brought to us by the single best airfoil maker in the entire country. That is PCC. And if you need a job, well, PCC's hiring. It has locations in Eastlake, Menor, Wickliffe, and Minerva that are hiring for all positions starting at $18 and up. That's not a bad price. $18 gets you far. Plus full benefit packages, paid time off, and a signing bonus. You can apply online at precast.com/careers.
Do you think there's an AP poll for best airfoil makers in America?
No.
I will officially put my name on the fact that PCC is the best airfoil maker in America.
What do you got, G? What do people say?
Always Balling 7 says, nah, made sense. Matthew David says, my girlfriend is Saudi. Drew Hahn says, not emotional, but super appreciative. I like that one. Abdul Smith says, nah, son. Love lost a step and he was slow and was getting picked on by opposing teams. I imagine you sounding that like in a New York accent. Nah, son. Get him up out of here. Kenny Miller says Dave Cowens was MVP in '73, had 2 rings in the Hall of Fame. Not sure what that has to do with Kevin Love. I just read it, though. Drama City TV Clee says, nah, the 10-man is washed up. And Brody's bottom line says, nah, they didn't go enough. Cut Lopez, too. That man, they right on that one. Listen.
Robin Lopez. He was the star of the media day.
Boy, I saw him warming up with this jump hook, and he just I was like, the Sasquatch is coming. This guy is.
He's just size. He's a big body.
Hey, listen, he's gonna sit on that floor and get no minutes.
Like, it's gotta suck if you're him. Like, he's not good, and his brother's so good.
His brother's having a phenomenal year.
Like,
twin brother too.
Tough, right?
Twin brother, not even
twins.
just
Like,
brother.
why is one of them so good and the other one stinks?
And by the way,
I mean, stinks on a relative term. You know?
let me tell you about this. Hey, Jason, Lawrence Goggin wants to know, How is Dylan Windler always on the mend, and how is he still on the squad? What has he done?
Is he actually on the roster right now?
Yeah.
Yes.
He is.
For a few more weeks.
Oh my God.
This is probably doing.
Oh my goodness.
This is last year in the
Free
contract.
Dylan Windler.
That
You guys
guy
want to hear
can't
some
stay
Kevin
healthy.
Love quotes from yesterday, though, real quick?
Sure.
Yeah.
And
Sure.
we'll put a wrap on the Kevin Love. We can talk about the game itself
Yes.
after. But I got 3 quotes I pulled from his
Yeah.
interview last night. The first,
3 might be pushing it. No?
we don't have to wrap. I'm just saying, we'll move quickly. This was about him asking out. Professionally, it was the hardest thing I ever had to do without question. I go back to Brexville, and I'm like, we did that. We really did that. That was incredibly hard to do after 8.5 seasons.
He lives in Brexville?
No, I think he meant Independence. I think he meant the practice facility.
I was like, Brett, what's in Brexville?
Brexville.
I was like, they have nothing in
He
Brexville.
lived in Bracknell, so I don't know what he's talking
yeah,
about.
with all the hoity-toits there.
Dang, Kevin, you good? You straight?
He lived next to
Excuse
Tristan.
me.
Him and Tristan were neighbors.
Oh.
The second quote I pulled
Yeah.
was on why he asked to be let go to find another situation, and it's what Jason alluded to. I felt like I could still play, and I know I can still play. Sometimes you have to give yourself up and sacrifice. I wanted to be out there and be part of something bigger than myself. I didn't think it was at the point yet where I was going to just sit there and watch.
Oh no, that was the point, dog. Sometimes somebody got to pull you aside and be like, hey, big dog, it's the end of the road. It's that Boys to Men right now for you, bro. It was Boys to Men as well. He was on bended knee too. I don't know why he feels like he is closer to Adonis Haslam than he is any of the other playing guys. Like he's more of a coach type guy, or
I had a coach tell me once, the hardest thing to do is to coach an aging superstar. And you can argue if Kevin was ever a superstar. I think he was.
Yeah.
But when they're sort of the last to know when it goes, you know what I mean?
Sure.
And they still think that they are the version that from 5 years ago, 6 years ago. And I'm not saying, I mean, maybe that is Kevin. It certainly looks that way, but he thinks he can still play. He thinks he's going to play next year and beyond. Whether or not he will remains to be seen. But it was interesting to talk to a coach who said, like, it's the hardest thing, man, because they buck against you and they think they can still do what they could, and it's a hard conversation to have.
who do you guys think in what sport do you fall off the quickest? Because I was going to say basketball players. To me, like, you see Gilbert Arenas, and he's one of the best in the league, then he's just done. You see, like, Penny Hardaway or
see that? I think
Mario
you see it-
Stoudemire, done.
I
Just
think you see it in every sport. I don't know what percentage. I mean,
I do think Duke and knee jerk, I would say basketball, without really
yeah, but
spending a lot of time
baseball,
thinking
I feel
about
like
it.
it happens like for guys when they're good, like they're not even old.
Well, I think it's a more gradual decline
Right,
in
like
baseball. You know what I mean? You go from hitting 290 to
I guess.
282 to 270 to 2, and your power
There are guys who
dips.
go off a cliff. Sean, as
Football
somebody,
guys are out of the NFL in
Sean
1 year,
Alexander
though.
was MVP 2 years later. He was out of the league.
Yeah.
Maybe the NBA is the quickest.
I think the NFL is just built to churn.
Right,
You know what I
it's
mean?
physical.
Like that's just the
Yeah,
nature
yeah,
of the
but
business.
basketball, like you could go. What's the dude? Granger.
Danny Granger?
Danny
Danny
Granger.
Granger.
Granger was getting 25, and then it was like Granger's hurt. Here's this new guy named Paul George. He's the new Granger. Bye.
Yeah.
And you're like, where did Granger?
A lot of times in basketball, it's injuries.
Yeah.
Injuries play a
and
role in it.
like baseball's double the size of the roster.
Yeah.
And if a veteran is trying to come back, he can play in AAA.
Right.
They don't really have like like Udonis Haslem and Kevin Love are not going to play in the G League.
Right.
No.
You know.
No.
So
And Haslam is very rare. Like no
Right,
other
right.
team in the league is giving up a roster spot for a guy who never plays.
right, that's weird.
He is definitely a shooter. He is
Speak-
definitely a goon. They hire him to smack
Yeah.
the guys around. Like,
Right.
listen,
That's-
we're gonna
I mean,
listen to
Yeah.
Udonis Haslam is what Aditi talks about all the time with Jarvis Landry. He's that veteran in the locker room
Right.
who holds things
Yeah.
together, and that's why Miami is Miami. That's why they are respected the way that they
Speaking
are.
of the Heat, how awful are those uniforms, by the way?
I think that was probably the city edition.
Yeah.
That's not their traditional. That's their
No, I
city.
know that, but those are horrible, aren't
Yeah,
they? No.
I wasn't
all
a
the
fan.
city-
I'm all into nice
love it.
colors. No, I don't.
No?
I don't like how their jersey numbers don't match. Right, the jersey numbers on the back look bad, bro. You got one is a pink one. Some of them could be a yellow one. Some of them could be a blue one. It's crazy, bro.
Yeah. In terms of the game last night, guys, the Cavs did something in the fourth quarter they've rarely done recently, and that's play defense. I thought they played great defense in the fourth, or maybe it's just that he couldn't score.
I thought that was a good win. You know, we talked
It was a nice win,
Tuesday.
yeah.
We talked Tuesday, so that's not a good win. The Boston win, I was not impressed
Yeah.
with that at all. I didn't think they. But to go on the road,
I like that win.
to go to a place where traditionally they don't. The Cavs have not had a lot of success in Miami over
Yeah.
the last 15 years.
I think they lost 21 of 22 there.
I mean, I never covered a win in that building. I was on the beat for 10 years. I never covered a Cavs win.
Even
in
when
that
they had
arena.
LeBron, even when they
Yeah.
were better, like they just never go down there and
It's
win.
not a good place.
And
right.
it's not exactly a hostile crowd, hostile environment. Although the crowd seemed to be into it a little bit last night, but it's a very laid back, show up late, leave
Is there
early
such a
type
thing as
thing.
a hostile crowd in any place, any sport in Florida?
In Florida, no.
Florida State
No.
football.
Still?
Yeah.
I mean, they do the chop.
They have a Indian guy come out and put a blazing spear in the middle of the field.
That's hostile.
That's hostile as hell.
Yeah, I wasn't really counting college. I was
Right.
thinking more pros.
But it's even not even a good one for like the Miami, the U don't got good crowds.
No.
They're lame. But it was a good win. Well, I guess what stood out to you most from the game for both of you?
Defense. I thought. And I don't know why. Maybe we're hard. Maybe we are hard on them because I was going to ask Jason this. When I watch the national guys, the national guys marvel at the way that the Cavs play defense. They're like number 3 in 3 points given up. They're like they don't allow points in the paint. They're number one defensive team overall. But when I watch them, sometimes I get mad at them because I'm like, come on, man, you can't. That's a terrible rotation. You didn't close out on that person. Are we overestimating their defense or underestimating their defense? And does it have another level in the playoffs?
No, I think they're legit. I do think it seems like they have a lot of wide open threes. They
Right.
give up a lot of wide open threes. But by and large, I think they are legit defensively. I think they're built on that. And with Mobley and Jared Allen in the middle, they're going to be good. And like defense translates in the playoffs. That's the one thing that the game slows down. The Cavs play slow anyway. It's kind of baffling to me how slow they play, as young as they are.
Yes.
With Donovan and Darius, you would think that they'd be running more than what they do, but they are one of the slowest teams in the league. But the game slows down in the postseason anyway. It becomes much more of a half-court game, a pick-and-roll type game, and I think defensively they're built for that. So that part is good. I'm still concerned about some of the other things, how they'll fare in the playoffs, but I think that defensively it translates.
Yeah, offensively for me, and I know a lot of teams do this, I just don't like to see just over and over high pick and roll when the game is tight. Yeah. Now, granted, it takes really good offensive teams to remove and cut and run regular offense in the last 4 minutes of a tight game. I get that. But, yeah, it's just, sometimes they run too much high pick and roll. And for me, it just comes down to it. Can Okoro and Stevens hit enough corner threes to make them honest or make them pay enough times to score enough points?
Final thing before we move on to top 5 clutch hitters of late. I think that's the list. And then Matt Underwood is here with us in studio for the first time.
Yeah.
Why are you guys looking at me like I'm crazy right now?
Because
I always look like that.
Yeah.
Give me
It's my resting
weird
bitch
look.
face. I can't, it's the only thing I got. I don't know.
We was listening
Yeah.
to your syllabus.
Well, I was going to say I've now forgotten my point. I threw myself off by saying why you
Hitters?
look. Hitters. I had a final point on the Cavs. I'm going to blow it off. Let's get, because I can't think of what I was going to say. Top 5 clutch hitters.
Yeah,
How did you come up with this list, by the way?
Earl and I were talking the other day just about guys we were terrified of facing in the bottom of the 9th if your team was
So
playing
you're basing
them.
this on no facts.
No, I did some numbers too.
What numbers? Like, what numbers did you look up?
Well, for one guy, I'm not going to tell you who yet, but he hit .14% or batting average, 14 points higher in the 9th inning with the runner on base. So I did some numbers here.
In close games or just period in the 9th inning?
9th inning with runner on base. It's very hard to sort it specifically. But these are the guys who I feared the most when my team was playing them, and they were up in the bottom of the 9th. And this is recent. These are guys that I remember. I'm sure Kirk
Like
Gibson.
of all time you're talking about?
No, these are guys in my last 20 years of baseball.
Okay.
So this takes
of
out the
this
older guys.
century, basically.
Yeah, like Lou Gehrig and
You're not putting Lou Gehrig?
No,
Lou
we
Gehrig,
didn't
Mickey
see
Mantle
them.
was on that
No,
list,
Ty
but
Cobb
he
in
didn't
the
make
mix.
it.
We
So.
didn't see them. No one saw
No,
those.
didn't see him. I had to see him play. I had to be
I don't even
burned
know
by
if they
them.
actually existed.
They
Let's
had
go.
to physically pain me to be on this list. So,
All right.
Okay.
Are you guys ready?
Yes.
Then
Number 5.
Edgar
arguably
Renteria would be on my list then.
one of the most clutch postseason hitters ever, Carlos Beltran. The run he went on in the 04 Astros, they lost in the World Series, but that run he went on, he had set the single-season home run record in the postseason. 3 of those home runs came in a tie game late in the 8th or 9th inning to put his team ahead. Damn. My man.
All right, I mean,
was
Carlos
clutch.
Beltran was clutch.
The Astros been good for about 20 years now. Slow.
Nah, not the whole time.
I mean, they've been good for about what?
They were good, then terrible, then very good.
Yeah. They blew it up to get good again with this more recent.
Yeah. They were the first team to tank, really.
They did it
in
like
baseball.
the year before the Cubs did, and they both won a championship. The Astros have stayed good.
Does tanking really work for baseball teams?
Not really.
Like,
I don't think so.
What is the point of tanking as a baseball
The
team?
Indians/Guardians have never really tanked. I mean, not recently.
No.
I mean,
And
it's
they're
not
good all the time.
They
not like-
unintentionally tanked for 30 years.
Well, yeah.
But since then,
But they didn't get good during those
they never
30
did.
years.
I mean, it's not like you get a #1 pick and it's transcendent and they're going to be dominant.
How are those Royals and Tigers tanks going?
yeah, I don't even know if those are tanks.
I mean, they
Like
suck.
like
both those
Houston,
teams.
Houston tanked.
Yeah,
and I think
Houston
there's
and
been-
the Cubs really tanked.
Yeah.
Both those teams completely
And they
tanked.
hit on their picks.
But in baseball,
The Nationals also tanked and got
Strasburg and Harper back-to-back.
back-to-back years, #1 overall.
I don't know that they tanked at that time. They just weren't good.
I mean, they were expansion.
And now Strasburg, I mean,
Does he
He's
still
Danny-
Strasburg is basically Mark Pryor, but he played a little.
He's
he
Danny
played a little
Granger.
more.
Does
He's
he-
Danny
does
Granger
he-
now.
Does he play?
I don't know
anymore?
if he's ever going to play again, honestly.
Strasburg.
You can't trust him.
I'm not sure.
But anyway, all right, let's get to so Carlos Beltran is clutch. Yes, I'll give you that.
#4, this next guy scared me. Oh, Earl.
What?
That's not a picture of Vlad Guerrero Jr. Anthony. I don't know who that is. But that's not
that?
Vlad.
I don't know what's worse, that you did not have the right picture or that you would put Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Not.
as one of the clutchest hitters in the last 20 years.
I wanted regular Vlad.
That was
Regular Vlad was my submission.
Oh, then wasn't that the bat flip boy? The dude, they used to flip the bat all aggressive.
Okay, I may
I
have
think
sent
that was
Junior to
I
Anthony.
I
I
think
would just
that
like
was-
to point out, Junior is in the email.
That still isn't Junior,
I
though.
still got the picture wrong.
I
Still,
think-
I
I
meant
think that was
Vlad Guerrero,
Teoscar
regular Vlad
Hernandez.
Guerrero.
Was that Teoscar?
I think.
That
I
was
don't know.
Teoscar Hernandez.
I
That
think.
is not Vlad
I don't know.
Guerrero.
I just got a
Teoscar
quick glance
Hernandez is
at
a
it.
good player, but
He
he's not
is.
on the Blue Jays anymore.
Regular Vlad Guerrero.
Regular
Regular.
Vlad.
I like
not,
regular.
Not diet.
Yeah, Papa Vlad.
How about Vlad Senior? Can we try that?
Vlad Senior, yes. He was terrifying. His numbers they were pretty consistent across the board, 1 through 7 and then 8, 9 innings. But he terrified me because he would swing at any pitch, and you
But
never
what did
knew.
What did he do in the postseason?
Vlad?
Yeah.
I'm not have
I
all
can't
the
even
numbers in front
remember,
right now.
I probably was. I'm just not remembering him even in the postseason.
See, this is back when people used
Vlad
to
was
know
very
who
good.
baseball players were. And everyone knew who Vlad Guerrero is.
Vlad Guerrero was, yeah. I mean, he was a great player. He doesn't stand out to me as being clutch like Beltran. I don't know.
He didn't have a ton of postseason at bats. He
No.
did bat 348 in the postseason for his career.
How many postseason at bats did he have? He didn't play in the postseason much, did he?
Give me 1 sec.
I don't remember him being in the postseason. Do you
He had
remember?
44 postseason games.
He played 44 postseason games?
Yeah.
So he was where?
a lot
Expos
more
and
than
then
I
the
thought.
Angels, right? Didn't he go
Yep.
to the Angels after the Expos?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Frank
He
Mack-
made the postseason 04, 05, 2 series in 05, 07, 08, 2 series in 09, 3 series in
Wow,
2010.
that's way more than I thought.
Yeah, he played a lot.
That's way more than
he was
I
in the
thought.
playoffs
He
the whole
played
time.
for some other teams later in his career, too,
Yeah,
didn't
he fizzled off. But Vlad Guerrero, that was
All
Earl.
right.
Earl was much higher on Vlad Guerrero.
I don't
Not-
think I'd take him in my top 5. I
Teoscar
think you guys are
Hernandez.
talking out your ass on that one, but go ahead.
Number 3, he never hurt me because he was on my team growing up, but he hurt everyone else. Derek Jeter. When the moment was the biggest, Jeter did come through.
I can't argue with Derek Jeter being in the top 5.
I've never. You guys did that.
I mean, you said 20 years, though. Like, Derek Jeter, I mean, I know, like, most of the clutch postseasons with Derek Jeter was in the 90s.
Oh my God.
In the 20-ish years of me
right.
baseball.
I've
I mean,
never.
he was a rookie in '96, 5, 6.
I know, but when you think of the Yankee dynasty, it was the 90s.
It was 96, 97, 98, 99.
And to 2000.
Did I tell?
And then they lost to Young Kim and Kurt Schilling
God, I
with,
haven't heard
with
that
the
name
fake
in-
sock.
Wow.
and
Luis
Randy
Hernandez.
Johnson.
Luis Hernandez.
Did I ever tell you guys Derek
Not
Jeter?
Luis Hernandez, Luis
Gonzalez.
Gonzalez.
Did I tell you that Derek Jeter's my cousin story?
Yes.
Yes, I
Did I tell you
remember.
that?
Yes, you
Yes.
did.
You look just like him.
By the way,
I'm convinced now that Kurt Schilling painted that sock red.
Would you stop?
He's a lunatic.
Oh my God.
He's a lunatic.
Oh my God.
he might have did it.
And
might
there's
have-
the politics. We got them all covered in the
It's
first
not
hour.
It's not politics. He's insane.
Why do you think he's a lunatic?
Because
of his politics.
No.
I think
Not because of his politics, because he's insane.
I think we need to check his phone records around January of one
Matt,
year.
we've covered segregation, sex tapes.
Check that man's phone record.
All right, Derek Jeter's clutch. Go ahead.
Number 2, this dude's postseason numbers are flat out absurd. You never wanted to see him in the bottom of the ninth. Albert Pujols, in his postseason career, you ready for this?
Yeah, he was good.
97 hits, 19 home runs, 54 RBIs, batted .349.
What's his career OPS in the postseason?
StatMuse has it. His career OPS in the postseason, .995.
I feel like Manny Ramirez should be on this list.
I
was very
feel like Rizzo should be on this list because he destroys. Maybe it was just one series, or every time he got up, Rizzo was hitting home runs or hitting doubles against us, and then he got hits last year too.
Honestly, if you're going to put somebody from that Cub team, you put Schwarber.
Schwarber.
More than you put Rizzo.
Yeah.
Schwarber,
Rizzo has
he's
been
not
clutch.
number 1.
But
Barry
I
Bonds,
know who
by the
better
way.
be number 1.
Yeah.
You just said it. Is
Yeah,
that number
yeah,
1?
come on.
Well, Bonds was the obvious one. I took Bonds out of this. Bonds was.
How you take Bonds out?
He's the cheat code. I wanted to give 5 answers that we could argue about.
That's like saying LeBron's the obvious MVP. We're not giving the MVP to LeBron.
That's the way it works.
And that's why Jokic gets 2, and Giannis gets 2, and Derrick Rose has 1, and Kobe only has 1.
That's crazy.
Who the hell's your number 1 if you don't have Bonds anywhere on the list?
He just
The single most feared postseason hitter,
Aside from Barry Bonds.
aside from Barry Bonds.
What are
By
we
the way,
doing?
if you were going to take out Barry Bonds, you should have said that before you
Right.
started.
Yeah, I thought I said it before. Then listen, Matt came in, and Matt and Steve know each
That's
other,
true. That's a
and they
good
were chatting
point.
behind.
Good point by Matt. Barry Bonds with the Pirates was
Choked.
terrible.
Choked.
And that's before my career.
And those
but-
were great teams.
But we're not counting those years either because
No,
it
we're
was
not.
before Mike.
Speaking of miserable human beings, Andy Van Slyke was on those teams. He was
Yeah.
This is a very narrow top
Bobby
5.
Bonilla,
Oh, yeah.
Mike LaValliere, the little fat catcher.
Sid Bream.
Sid
Sid
Bream.
Bream.
Run.
Yeah.
number
Jay
Bell,
Bell,
that's right.
former Indian.
number 1 though for
Yeah.
me, the guy was terrified of the single most was David Ortiz. Big Papi in clutch moments never failed to ruin whoever
I
he was
think Manny
facing.
was clutcher than Ortiz. No, I don't know.
Manny's
it was
right there.
comparable.
Manny was very clutch too, but I only put one Red Sox
I
on
can't
there.
get over, the upgraded Barry Bonds. Come on, man. That Angel series, the upgrades that he gave himself. This dude was
Barry
not
Bonds
only-
was too clutch. Barry Bonds almost was a
Barry
cheat code.
Bonds.
No Bill Buckner on that list.
He was,
Wasn't around in '86.
He was
but
hitting the
guys,
ball
it
over
is
the
12
stadium.
o'clock. G. Bush, you know what that means at 12 o'clock?
Yes.
It's time to tell you guys about our favorite Northeast Ohio NASCAR team. It is Colleague Racing, the official sponsor of Northeast Ohio NASCAR. And we mentioned this earlier. We're going to mention it again as we bring Matt in here. If you're not already a member of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, seriously, guys, what are you doing? For $1.99 a month,
Come on now.
you're a starters tier member. That gets you loyalty badges, custom emojis, members-only community posts. To be a coaches tier member at $4.99, it's less than $5 a year, less than $60, $5 a month, $60 for a year. You get all the same starter tier perks, overtime videos, member shoutouts, discount codes for merch. You get the text with Jason, and much more. And without further ado, what's up, Matt Underwood? How you doing?
I'm great. How are you guys
Yeah,
doing?
in the
Matt,
building.
welcome to the show for the first time.
Thanks
We
for having
appreciate
me.
it.
It's great being here.
Do you think Teoscar Hernandez is one of the top 5 clutch hitters of the
What
last
did you think of that
23
list?
years?
Who was missing? from
I
that
love
list?
lists, and I like the way you guys have the show formatted because
Yeah,
I just
thank
felt
you.
like literally I walked downstairs to my buddy's basement,
Right.
and it was just on.
That's what we want to do. I mean,
That's literally
what we're going
our
for, really.
mission statement.
Yeah, there's no varnish, or we're not being
No,
fair.
no,
We're not.
no.
Nobody's feelings are afraid of getting
No,
hurt.
no.
It's
Definitely
like,
not.
We trample
you say
everyone.
something dumb, you're going to get crushed.
Oh, yeah.
So it
That's right.
should be.
You
I like
can't be
it.
sensitive on this
like it,
show.
yeah.
It's not going to go well. Did you? Was there anybody that's off the top of your head that should be on that list, or at least be in consideration for the list? Jose, should we put Jose on that list?
I think Jose Ramirez is on that list. I mean, again, I think if you're going to, you almost have to separate it out. You're talking about postseason clutch
Right.
performers,
Right.
or just guys in the clutch. Because
Yeah.
I've seen so many games, not as many postseason games have I covered, obviously, but
yeah.
there are games where you're looking at that. I'm looking at my lineup card, and I'm like, gosh, the lineup's going to turn over. We're going to have to see so and so again, and you think about the Tigers run. It's like you didn't want to see Miguel Cabrera late in the game.
No.
You did not want to see him up with a chance to do any kind of damage because he's a guy that will use the whole field. And those are the guys. That's why Derek Jeter was such a great, in my opinion, clutch performer. David Ortiz, maybe you could pitch to him at times, although he was on a different level there for a while. But home run guys have holes in their swings.
Yeah, that's true.
But Jeter could just, boom, hit one to right field, dump one
Right.
in, and you're screwed. You're down.
I remember as a kid, as a Cubs fan, the first time they made the playoffs was 1984, and they played the Padres. And I was like, every time Tony Gwynn came to the plate, you know, like Jack Clark was on that Padre team, but like you could pitch around him somewhat. They had power, but you couldn't pitch around Tony Gwynn.
Yeah.
You knew he was going to put the ball in play. You just had to hope you were going to be there to make the play.
And I'm a little bit older than you guys, and growing up in the '70s, the Big Red Machine.
Yeah.
Find a hitter in that lineup you wanted to face.
Yeah.
Right.
Tony Perez, Joe Morgan, Johnny Bench, on and on. There wasn't an easy out there.
Right.
And the Pirates with Willie Stargell and Dave Parker and Bill Madlock and Mike Easler. I mean, and the Phillies. Greg Lazinski, and then when Pete Rose went over there, I mean, there
Mike
were some
Schmidt.
great teams. The Baltimore Orioles had great teams, and those guys were a different breed of hitter because it wasn't all about launch angle and trying to hit it out of the park.
know.
And so those guys, you feared them because if you made a bad pitch, they were going to make you pay for it.
Yeah.
But you could make a good pitch, and they'd still find a way to get the bat on it and find a hole, and you end up losing the ball game.
Well, Matt,
I just gave a stat. Sorry, G, real quick. I gave a stat the other day. I saw that Rod Carew won the batting title 7 out of 10 years, and the 3 years he didn't win it, he had 360, 330, and 310 or something like that. Guys like him, you had George Brett, Wade Boggs, all these guys that were just hitting machines.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
No, well, I look at it like this. The Guardians of today, the team that would scare me, and I look at it, you're up a game on the Yankees. And it's like you watch these games, and the whole time you're like, can we get enough runs? Can we get enough runs? Can we get enough runs? And they get up, and they might be down 2 or 3 runs, or they might be not batting well the whole game, and then the 3-run homer comes around. Like, is that a tough thing to do? Is that I asked Jay and I asked Bull and Jason, I said, is it possible to win a World Series if you are a hit-to-contact team, you're going to play solid defense, and you're going to run the bases? Is that a way you can win a World Series with the way things are played today?
Certainly you can, but I think it makes it more difficult because, as we all know, when you get into the postseason, you're only facing the top 3 pitchers starting-wise. And then you got everybody coming out of that bullpen right behind him. So you're not going to feast on the 4 and 5 starters in a rotation. So you're not going to get as many hits. So it's tough to string together 4 and 5 hits in an inning to have a big rally, which is why you need to have that threat of the long ball. You need somebody in that lineup that can pop one and get you some instant offense. And look, are they a mashing team? No. But last year against Tampa Bay, game 1. I mean, it's a best of 3, right? You got to win. It's Shane Bieber gives up a run. It's 1-0. Jose comes back in the bottom. I think it was the 7th inning and homered to tie the game up. That was huge. One swing of the bat, bang, we're back to even. And then they end up winning the game. And then we had the epic 16-inning scoreless affair until Oscar walked it off. So you need to have that threat. And I think Oscar Gonzalez, Jose, adding Josh Bell to the middle of that lineup, that gives you legitimate fear as a pitcher. Like, okay, if I make a mistake here, that ball is going to be in the seats.
And if healthy, Zunino for a catcher has a lot of power.
Yeah.
Now, can he stay healthy for a whole season? We'll see. He's coming off a bad injury from last year. Have you been to spring training yet?
Yeah, I was down there for a week.
And you're going back? Or?
Yeah.
So how does Zunino look so far? What's the early thoughts on him?
Good. I mean, he's healthy.
Yeah.
So he had the thoracic outlet syndrome surgery.
Right,
so
right.
It's not so much a performance injury as it is, it's something that you have to have done for circulation reasons.
Right.
And it's become, as gruesome as it sounds, it's become a fairly somewhat common procedure. So it's not like he had a muscle that was torn and had to be reattached. He should be fine. And you're right. You're talking about a couple of years ago, he's a 33 home run guy.
Yeah.
He's not going to hit for a high average, but he gives you threat, which, again, for a pitcher gives you, you got to think about what you're going to do here. And I loved Austin Hedges and Luke Maley last year. Great defensive catchers, great guys, good people in the clubhouse. They kept everything light and loose. But, man, they just you were like hoping for him to get a hit, and it just didn't happen. There just wasn't a lot of production from that position. Hopefully Mike Zunino can give you, some power and some thump every once in a while at the bottom part of the lineup.
What do you expect? Are we going back to baseball as we know it? You mentioned launch angle earlier. I just wonder, are we finally going back to baseball of 10 and 15 years ago with the rules changes?
I think the good news for me is that the Cleveland Guardians are already there.
Yeah.
It's like it's almost like they were looking out over the horizon and say, hey, boys, I see the game is changing. let's get there ahead of time. I don't think that is actually what happened.
Zach Meisel and I had that conversation last year probably, did they see this coming? And because they built this roster for contact.
Yeah.
Far more than most other teams. Like, it's almost like that's what they look for in hitters now.
I think that's just a hitting coach a long time ago once told me, you can teach a guy that can hit to hit for power. But if you can't make contact, where am I going with this?
Right.
Russell Brandon was a great example of a guy who could turn heads in batting practice. Did you see where that ball went? And even in the game, he could hit a ball as far as. We did a game in Venezuela one spring training against the Astros. He hit a ball out of the stadium. Like, the people in the top row stood up and watched it go over their heads, and it went out of the damn stadium.
Yeah.
And I thought that's the longest home run I think at that time I had ever seen.
Right.
But Russell couldn't hit for contact. He'd hit 216 and strike out 150 times, and those home runs would be majestic, but not enough of them to overcome that. And so if you can hit for average, you can teach a guy to, okay, now get the head out a little bit earlier and hit that pitch and pull it for a home run. Jim Thome was not a home run hitter. Jim Thome was an opposite field doubles machine. Yeah. And Charlie Manuel opened his stance up and taught him how to get the ball out front and hit it for power, and he became a home run monster. So I think if you're scouting your people that are out there beating the bushes, you find guys that can hit for average and consistently put the ball in play, with physical maturation, you're gonna get bigger. I mean, every year we come to camp, it's like, wow, that guy. It's just because he's a year older,
right?
And he's on the nutrition program, and he's just, he's eating better. I mean, look when I was 20, I'd eat fast food every day if you'd have let me. Yeah. But they get these guys in the system, and they teach them this is what you need to eat every day, and keep the body fueled properly. So these guys are getting stronger, they're getting faster, they're getting better.
I think that they do the same thing with pitching, right? They like to draft and acquire pitchers who have good command.
Yeah.
And then they get their velocity up. We've seen this time and time again.
This will be the great novel down the road.
Yeah.
What was the formula? Because even internally, we have these discussions. Because, when you have success, the poachers come along. I want to take this guy and make him my pitching coach. I want to take this guy and make him my pitching coordinator in the minor leagues. What are they doing in Cleveland? We'll take some of their guys.
Yeah.
But they continue to turn them out. So it's more than just one person having all the answers. They've got some kind of really good formula for getting these guys into the system, and where they also excel, not just drafting, but they acquire guys in trades that you're like, who's this guy? Who's Corey Kluber, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, just a 2-time Cy Young Award winner down the road. Once we figure out how to optimize his pitches, and they've just done a fantastic job. And that's what keeps you relevant as a smaller market team. You've got to have pitching. You have to develop it yourself.
How do you stop the slander in the grocery stores? I know when people see you, they say, where's the money at, Matt?
Yeah.
What are they doing with the money? Do you have a list of notes that you give people? Have the Dolans giving you a bullet point presentation? This is what you need to hit here and here and get out the self-checkout line.
Look, I think we all, as fans, we want to spend the owner's money. It doesn't matter what sport, football, basketball, you name it. Go get this guy, go get that guy. We'll be a better team if we trade for this guy. It's just our nature as fans. We want the best players at every position. We want an all-star team. The reality is you've got a budget to work with, whether you're an owner or a general manager. That's not something we want to talk about as fans. I don't want to talk about budget. I want to talk about the best players. So what Chris and Mike and that front office have done a wonderful job of is here's the budget. This is what we have to spend. How do we best allocate those funds to stay competitive? Because you guys were just talking about teams that tanked.
Mm-hmm. Right.
This organization has never said, well, we're just going to throw in the towel. They continue to stay relevant longer than any other franchise in the city. For 20 years, they've been a relevant team year in and year out. That's admirable. I love the job that they've done. I try to focus more on that when anybody comes with that, they don't spend this, they don't spend that. It's like, well, it's not your money. When you have enough money to buy a team, you can spend it any way you want.
I hear you. I scream about the payroll too. It's frustrating. I get it. We all want, because they have such a great front office, we think, wow, if this team had $150 million payroll, how good could they be? But it is what it is. We can't control that situation. So what we can control is, okay, well, let's look at this team and what they need. Now, for the first time in a while, I feel like I'm thinking ahead to the trade deadline. I think they're going to be good. I think they're going to win the division. I'm thinking already about the playoffs, and I think they're going to need one more starting pitcher. I know that's crazy, but I'm thinking ahead. But it's good because for the last bunch of years, we've been like, who the hell's going to play left field? Who the hell's going to play right field? Right now, you feel like there's at least a decent starter at every spot. Now, maybe that changes. I am a little nervous, though, Matt, about the back of the rotation. For me, I don't trust Plesac, and I don't trust Savali. I like Quantrill, but I was hoping they'd get a veteran starter in the mix to face a Garrett Cole or somebody in the playoffs. I think, and I'm optimistic they have payroll flexibility to potentially trade for a pitcher at some point. Do you think, or are you comfortable with what they have right now in the starting rotation?
I'm comfortable with what they have based on what I saw a year ago. And the hope that Plesac and Savali stay healthy and get out there and give you 30 starts. If they don't, then you have to look internally first, because that's the way they operate. And internally, they've got two pretty good-looking young studs down on the farm that they didn't bring to camp for the same reason they didn't bring Bieber to camp a few years ago. Because
but are they going to be ready to join the team this year?
I think so? They could be.
Okay, then that's a different story.
They're kind of flying through the system. Gavin Williams is a name to remember.
Yes.
Tanner Bybee. Those are the two names that are kind of on the horizon.
Because Espino's been hurt.
Yeah, and Logan Allen is another guy. He's a left-hander. Not the Logan Allen from a
Logan
year ago.
Right.
But this is another kid that's very exciting. So they've got three guys that are sort of on the periphery that are not that far away. And look, that's like last year. You go into the season, nobody was talking about Oscar Gonzalez being on the big league team. And then he comes up in the middle of the season, you're like, where's this guy been, right?
They had left him for the Rule 5 draft.
Right in the offseason last year. And Will Brennan was another one. I mean, we saw him tearing up AAA, and we're like, where's he at? Why isn't he getting called up? And then he got called up in September, and now he's got a real good opportunity to be on this ball club. So, again, it goes back to what we were talking about, their ability to draft, identify, develop. It's one thing, as you said, you could tank and get the number one pick in the draft. That doesn't mean anything in baseball.
It's a crapshoot.
You go back and look at the history of Major League Baseball draft. The first round is littered with guys you've never heard of that never made the majors. Never made first-round picks.
I know. It's not like it's the hardest sport
to
project, especially when you're drafting high school kids.
Yeah.
Like, who the hell knows how these guys are going to develop? Plus, they're playing with metal bats. It's a
and mentally.
Right.
It's hard to crawl in somebody's head and try and figure out, is this kid – I remember the story, Bartolo Colon. When they signed Bartolo Colon, now he wasn't part of the draft. He was in the Dominican.
Yeah.
They signed him, 16 years old. When they signed him, and I don't remember what the money was at the time. It's irrelevant. Whatever it was, $10,000, $20,000, it was more money than his family had ever seen.
Right.
The question the organization had internally was, because this guy has nothing, will a little bit be enough to satiate him, and will he want to continue to get better?
Right.
And wouldn't you know it, he pitched longer than anybody in the history of their organization.
Crazy.
You just never know.
You never know.
You don't.
You never know what's inside somebody. No. In terms of getting back to what we first started with, the power, Matt, because I think for the Guardians, to me, the goal is, can you get to the middle of the pack? They're not going to compete with the elite in terms of power. They just don't have that kind of roster. But I think they can get to the middle of the pack in power if Zunino stays healthy, if Josh Bell takes what I believe is still one more step in his game, and if Oscar Gonzalez moves forward. Like, you've been covering this game forever. We know in baseball more than any other sport, a guy could look awesome as a rookie, and then his second year he could suck. I think we all feel good about Stephen Kwan being still good because of the nature of his game.
Yeah.
But Gonzalez, it wouldn't surprise me if he's got 20 home runs in June. It wouldn't surprise me if he's in the minors in June. I just think that's the nature of baseball. But if he can be a legit 30 home run guy, then they could really move into the middle of the pack in power. And with the ability to get on base, the speed, the defense, if they can be middle of the pack, they can play with anybody.
I think if you think about baseball and maybe how it relates to other sports, maybe it's the one sport where each position impacts the other more than any other sport. Like, if you think of an offensive line in football, they all have to work in concert.
Yeah.
But, having a great center, isn't necessarily dependent on the two guards. Each guy's got his individual assignment. He does what he does. Certainly running backs, back in the old day when they had two back sets, they could complement each other. You could have a banger and you could have a speed guy getting outside. Baseball, each spot in the lineup is dependent on the guy in front of him and behind him. And I think so what they're building here is Stephen Kwan in that leadoff spot, he took to it.
Yeah.
As soon as they put him in there and got Miles out of there, the offense really took off. And to your point, he's got great bat-to-ball skills. I think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Jose is the guy last year that what he did was incredible because for most of the year, he had no protection. I mean, Rick Manning and I we marveled. We were like, can you believe nobody's intentionally walked him? And then all of a sudden, like come June 1st, it was like every other day they were put him on.
Yeah.
So now, with Josh Bell behind him, presumably, you're going to have to think twice about how you pitch to Jose. Ahmed Rosario, I love. He's one of my favorite guys. He reminds me. Remember Ronnie Lott with the 49ers?
Yep, of course.
That's what I think of when I watch Ahmed Rosario run the bases. Those high knees, it looks like he's going to, if you got hit in the chin with one of his knees, you'd be out for a week. I love the way he just attacks the game. So your first three hitters, and then again, Josh Bell. A lot depends on how he handles the middle of that order. If he protects Jose might have a big year. And then, Josh could have a big year because people are being careful with Jose, and then they make a mistake, and Josh Bell pounds it. And then you got Josh Naylor sitting behind him, and Oscar Gonzalez sitting behind him, and who knows how the rest of the lineup is going to shake out. But Mike Hargrave said it a long time ago: a 4-hole hitter legitimizes your entire lineup. When you have that guy that sits in the middle, the guys in front of him are going to get better pitches to see, and the guys behind him, they get better because. Now the pitcher has nowhere to take a breath. I finally got through the top 4, and now I got Oscar Gonzalez, or now I got Josh Naylor. Whoever's behind him, there's not going to be as easy a break. Last year, you could probably say there were times where you got through the first 6, you could kind of take a breath.
Oh, absolutely.
And get through for sure.
You mentioned Ahmed Rosario. What is his long-term appeal with the Guardians? Because we got all these middle infielders.
I know.
And the guy, was a top prospect. He looks like he's found a home at shortstop.
And he's a great, as we're told, you would know better than us, great locker room
Absolutely.
guy.
So, what does it look like?
He feels like, I don't know if they're going to do him, Matt, because they got all these young guys, but he feels like he should be in the price range that they could keep him.
Yeah.
Right? He's not getting $30 million a year because he's not a power hitter. So, I don't know. I mean, I feel like his contract's going to be somewhere in that Andrew Benintendi level, like $15 million a year, maybe. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Do you think it's too much?
I think right now, where they're at with regards to Ahmed is, as you pointed out, Garrett, they got all these young guys that are piled up behind him. It's basic economics. You're going to look at, it's like, well, if we pay Ahmed, we're going to have to unload these young guys because there's nowhere for them to go. And then is that going to impact our ability to keep Shane Bieber or somebody else that's going to come due? Where can we make the most impact for our buck is I think the way Chris and Mike have to, look at building the roster long term, to your point. And that's where it's hard, for me and for a lot of people that cover the team because look, we're human and you get affinity for certain people. Like Ahmed Rosario, do I have long conversations about the moon and the stars with him? No. But I love the way he approaches the game. He's very low-key. Andre Knott, who's one of my best friends, he went down to the Dominican and spent some time with Ahmed. He told me, he goes, now we know why he's so quiet. He grew up with sisters. They talked all the time. And so Ahmed's just very quiet, very reserved because that's just the way he grew up. It's not because he's, innately shy or doesn't trust people or anything like that. That's just his personality. And I love that about him because he plays with that fire and that energy, but he doesn't have to talk. And he just sits there and watches Jose chirp, and he just gets a big kick out of it. And the two of them played together so well on the left side of the infield. I don't know, to answer your question, if he's a long-term fit. I'm sure they'd love to make it work. I don't know if that's going to happen, though.
While we're talking about middle infielders, Andres Jimenez, I was looking at the numbers. Yeah. I knew he had a good year.
He's a stud year.
If you look at WAR, and Bull and I have had this conversation, sometimes I think defense gets a little bit too much credit into the WAR stat. He was putting up WAR numbers that it took Robbie Alomar to age 31 to have the type of season he had. How good of a year did he have, and is there another step or two? Like I kept asking Zach Mize all year, why is Jimenez hitting 7th? Why is he hitting 6th and 7th? He's the best hitter in the lineup next to Jose.
Yeah.
What is his next progression?
He's one of those guys we were just talking. He came to camp, and I'm like, he just looks even stronger and not bigger. He didn't bulk up, but he just looks like there's no fat on this guy. I think he's a guy that. So we had 3 guys that stole 20 bases last year, and 2 guys who were close. I think we could easily have 30 stolen bases, guys.
Especially with the bigger bases,
Bigger
the pitch
bases.
clock.
You know, I mean, that's
Yeah,
going to
yeah.
be a point of emphasis. We saw it right out of the gate. I've gone to spring training where I never saw a stolen base attempt in spring training. There were like 4 or 5 in the first game of the year. I'm like, "Phew, what's going on? Like somebody shot a starter's gun on there. Jimenez can steal bases.
Yeah.
He takes the extra base. He turns a single into a double by being aggressive. He's also a guy that I think there's more power in there. I don't want to see him turn into a dead pull guy, but I think when pitchers make mistakes, they try to throw a breaking ball and it speeds up his bat. He's going to sting some people. I think that he's a guy that when he came over here, look, I can only imagine what it's like when they say, okay, go replace Frankie Lindor and good luck.
Yeah.
And he was very young. He was 20, 21 years old. And I think that, not that it overwhelmed him, but that certainly was there. And last year he was more comfortable. And, you know, playing second base, I think he took to that position. It showcased his athletic ability. I don't know that he still couldn't be a great shortstop, but I think he's got a chance to be a very special second baseman.
And when you said pull hitter, it reminded me, have you guys seen when Joey Gallo came up? He's on Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
Did you see how they defended him? Did you see this, Jason?
No. The short? Did
They put the left fielder in short right field.
So they had no left fielder.
Yeah.
In a way, because if you look at his spray chart, he never hits the ball to left field. Almost never. Now, I don't think they're going to do this like they did. Like with Jose, they put the second baseman in short right field. They're not going to take the left fielder with Jose because he can hit the ball to left field. Joey Gallo can't at all. But Joey Gallo is actually going to get screwed by this new rule. A player like him, because now there's one more defender on the infield, and it's. But in general, it's. I mean, I like these new rules. I know for old school baseball guys, in which I always considered myself, it's a huge adjustment, all these rules. But I think they're going to make the game more exciting.
Think about the NFL, the NBA, and baseball.
Yeah.
Comparatively, baseball has moved at a glacial pace.
Yes.
So I was thinking about this the other day. 1972, the NFL decided to make what at the time was probably overlooked by a lot of people, a major change to the playing field. They moved the hash marks in. They moved them so that they were even with the goalposts up and down the field. They used to be way out on the side. So if you had the ball on the right hash, half your offense was running into the sideline. You know, so they moved the hash marks in. The idea was it's going to open up the defense and it will force teams to throw the ball. It will incentivize them to throw the ball more.
Yeah.
The unintended consequence was it ushered in the year of the runner. More guys rushed for 1,000 yards in 1972 than ever had before in the history of the NFL. And so I'm curious to see what the unintended consequences of these rule changes are.
Yes.
So to your point, Bull, you got 3 men on the right side of the infield. I'm a left-handed pull hitter. You're going to pitch me to hit into that pull, all right? People that complain like, why don't they just hit the ball the other way? Well, you're not throwing the pitch away. Right. Joey Votto says it best. He goes, we hit where the ball is pitched. If you pitch me away, sure, I'll hit it through the left side all day. But when you got 3 guys over here on the right side of the infield, you're pounding me in. You're throwing 95-mile-an-hour cutters in on my fist. The only thing I can do is try and pull it over there. Right. So now there's only 2 defenders over here, 2 defenders over there. The old-fashioned setup.
Right.
So as a pitcher, if I've got a left-handed pull hitter up there, am I going to pitch him in, knowing that there's one less defender over there?
Right. No.
Maybe not.
Maybe
now I'm throwing him more pitches away. So what's the cat and mouse game? How does the hitter react to the way pitchers? Jose's used to seeing in, just pound it in. Well, now if he's getting pitches away, does he make the adjustment and say, all right, I'm gonna start taking it the other way? Does his double count go up because he's gonna backspin the ball to left? Or does he say, no, I'm gonna hook it and go through that hole on the right side because I know there's more room over there? I'm anxious to see how that particular rule change impacts the game this year.
I'm curious. Neither Josh Bell nor Josh Naylor are very good defensively. Who do you think primarily will play first and who will primarily DH?
I think Josh Bell will be primarily the designated hitter.
Okay.
I think if Tito can get him out there defensively, it helps because the one thing that we had going for us last year as a ball club was that the DH was used to get more people involved on everyday basis.
Sure.
Guys didn't sit on the bench and wait for a week to play because he could move them around. if Josh Bell is just a DH, well, then that takes your ability to move people around. So I think with Tito in a perfect world, he'd like to have him out there a couple of days a week.
Well, we know Naylor's not going to play against lefties this year, right? I mean, I would think.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know that he's going to strictly platoon him.
Yeah.
There definitely will be certain left-handers like, well, this is just a bad idea, so we'll give him the day off here. But, I think defensively, look, they've tried a lot of different things, and they're looking at a lot of different things. So the other problem that they have, it's a good problem to have, is they've got young guys that are kind of backed up like Gabriel Arias. Where does he fit? He can't play. He ain't playing short. He's not playing third. He's not playing second.
Yeah.
So they've got him a little bit first. Maybe try him in the outfield. Same thing with Tyler Freeman. You're trying to find ways to get these guys involved, and so
it's a good problem to have.
The great thing about Terry Francona as a manager and his staff, and I don't want to leave them out because Mike Sarbaugh figures into this heavily. They work with guys. So if you're not naturally a first baseman, but we want to see if you play there, they're going to work with him. They're going to get you to the point. So if they put him out there, it's not going to be an embarrassment to himself or to the team. So he's great at making sure if you're on the team, you play. You don't sit for a week and just, let your skills diminish.
Matt, great stuff. Have fun down in Arizona. We all can't wait for the season.
Thanks for having me, man. I appreciate it. It was great.
Matt Underwood, great to see you.
Yeah. All right,
excellent stuff. I can't wait for baseball to start.
Yeah.
It started, right?
Yeah, we got March 24th, March 26th, and then the season opens on that Thursday in Seattle, March 30th.
That's right. Like the first 6 games are all
Seattle for 4, and then Oakland for 3.
Yeah.
So 7 on the road on the West Coast before we come home.
That's a rough way to open.
Yeah.
That's a rough way to open.
Because we have to stay up late to watch the games. I'll be doing it. I'll be doing it. All right, thank you, man.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks so
right,
much
man.
for coming in,
Appreciate
Matt.
you.
Mikey, what do you got for
Appreciate
us?
it. Yeah, no, I just want to remind everybody that the 12 o'clock lunch hour is brought to you by Colleague Racing, Northeast Ohio's official NASCAR team. We mentioned this earlier. We'll mention it again. If you haven't already become a member of the Ultimate Cleveland Sports Show, what are you waiting for? For $1.99 a month, you get to be a starters tier member. That's loyalty badges, custom emojis, just like we were using earlier in the show. Members-only community posts for $4.99 a month. You enter the coaches tier, and that gets you all the same starter tier perks, plus overtime videos, member shout-outs, discount codes for merch, much more. You text with Jason during games. Overtime gets wild. Some things that we could definitely not say on the regular show get said in overtime. So if you're not a member, you are missing out, and hopefully at some point you decide to join that exclusive club.
Well, I can't wait for baseball season.
It's March 17th. I go to spring training.
Yeah.
8 days.
Man, thanks again to Colleague Racing, Mikey.
I know we love Colleague Racing, and for the second time in a minute, I'm going to tell you guys that they are the official NASCAR team of Northeast Ohio.
Sorry.
So, little
Thought I was
update on
saving
Jay.
you there. Yeah.
Jay will join us in a sec. He's going to use Sean, his photographer's phone. So he went to the field with the phone and realized he couldn't unlock it. He didn't have Sean's code. So he's now walking back to the locker room where he just interviewed Terry Francona and Tom Hamilton, and then he's going to join us in a sec.
Why can't he use his own phone?
His headphone jack is broken, and if you could have seen Jay before we took him live yesterday, it was mass chaos. That's why he can't hear in his headphones, and he was like, I can't hear. I'm like, Jay, you're a professional. Figure it out. And eventually he did, but he was going to use headphones so it sounds a little clearer, use a real microphone. So we are just waiting for Jay to do that.
All right.
All right. Yeah.
Matt was awesome, by the way.
Yeah.
And he was, and I'm still going to complain about the payroll, but, what is he going to do? I mean, I get it. I agree with Matt, though. Like, fans want to talk about that all the time. And once we start talking about the team and the game, it's like, okay, to me, the payroll is off-season conversation.
Right. Like, after, during the season, you kind of forget about the payroll, right?
Yeah.
Like if the playoffs comes around for the Cavs, you stop talking about who can they pick up. No, you have what you got, bro.
Nobody was complaining about the payroll in 2016.
No, but they had a higher payroll.
But no one was. But
Right.
I guess we talked a couple weeks ago about extension eligible guys.
Right.
Start locking up Andres Jimenez before it's too late. Lock up Stephen Kwan before it's too late.
McKenzie.
Tristan McKenzie. Gonzalez is such a boomer bust guy you talked about earlier. But if they lock up some of these guys, if they make a move at the trade deadline, nobody's going to care what they're paying them. No one's going to care about the payroll. Just win, lock up some of these guys now, spend the money that way rather than trying to dive into free agency and coming up with a guy who may or may not be a success. And a lot of that will go away. No one's going to complain about it anymore.
Yeah,
They do so much else right. They do
Yes.
so. I mean, I was going to mention, and the conversation moved on, but they just absolutely knocked the Lindor trade out of the park. When you look at like what the Orioles got nothing for Manny Machado, nothing. and he had a half year left on his deal. Frankie had 1 year left. It's essentially the same thing. It's one postseason.
Right.
To get Ahmed Rosario and Jimenez out of that.
Well, they got 2 minor leaguers who I think are,
Yeah,
I don't remember
that's
who the
icing
other
on the
two
cake.
guys are.
Yeah, I don't
Right.
know.
And now potentially they'll either extend Rosario or maybe flip him. It's going to be a weird situation because the Guardians were thinking about flipping Ahmed Rosario last year. They couldn't because they made it to the playoffs. They weren't expecting to make the playoffs when the season started. Now you're going into a season where you are expecting to make the playoffs.
It's probably they're going to lose him for nothing. Probably.
Right, because in the past they've made trades at the deadline where they add and sell, which they did with Bauer.
Right.
And but like Rosario, I can't imagine them trading Rosario in season.
If he's having a good year and they're rolling, it's hard to trade your starting shortstop.
You're not going to do that.
You could sell the Bauer thing because of what they got back,
but they rarely let guys who are good go. He feels like a guy they could afford to sign, but
I think it's more with the guys coming behind him.
I
And
know.
I understand it's not a sure thing. I
but
get it.
You could turn. They have,
And also, Rosario, as good as he is, he's not Carlos Correa. He's not Xander Bogaerts.
Right, but because he's not those guys, they can afford to pay him.
Yeah, but
he's not
also-
going to get that kind of money.
No, I agree. But also, because he's not that kind of guy, it's easier to hit that with some of the guys.
Maybe
It's not like you're moving on from Frankie Lindor going, oh my God, how are we going to replace
What I'm saying,
this?
Jason, is you could use that glut of infielders to go get another pitcher at some point this season, and then re-sign Rosario at a rate that they can afford to pay.
I would rather them use the Rosario money to lock up some of these guys long term to maybe take a swing at the trade deadline.
Should be able to do both.
And between Arias and Rocchio and some of these other guys, you're typically this is too good of an organization not to find one that's going to hit.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. Go ahead, Mikey.
So while we're waiting on Jay, we're going to do this after Jay. We'll do it real quick now beforehand. And if he cuts in the middle, we'll just save the rest for overtime here. But G. Bush sent me this yesterday, and I want your guys' thoughts on it. You get one shot to make. For $50,000, you make a layup. Make a free throw, $100K. Top of the key, 3, $500K. A wing three-pointer, $750K. A corner three-pointer, $1 million. That's life-changing money.
Corner
shot
three
you
is the
take.
easiest.
I kind of not.
Why would the corner three be more? I think the wing three is
because
the
there's no depth perception in the corner three.
It's the shortest, but it is the hardest for a non-basketball player.
I almost wouldn't want to do it because I feel like there's almost no chance I would make those baskets, and it would just
You couldn't make a layup?
I'd take a layup.
The layup
I'd
for
take the
50K?
layup. Easy money.
I couldn't do it. I would have.
Really?
No. I would not do the layup. I would not pass on a chance to win $1 million.
Oh, I would take the layup.
I'm taking the layup.
I'll take a free $50K.
That makes no sense.
That's
Why?
free.
Because
Why?
you make a good living. You can afford to take a chance. You're not.
What are the odds that I'm actually going to make a three with $1 million on the
They
line?
gonna give you $50K all at once.
But that's
Like,
not even a gimme.
A layup?
I could definitely miss a layup. I'm terrible at basketball. Terrible.
when your son, like, how many times were you missing layups when you
A
played
ton.
this? Like, you was blowing the bunnies?
Dude, I could barely get off the ground. I got like a negative vertical.
Now, I will say this, Big Nuggets. I will tell you this.
Yeah.
When you are talking about a layup, unless you go through the layup line and do it like the layup line, you do have a chance of missing a layup. If you were flat-footed on the
Yeah,
box
right.
outside of the key, you could miss that.
I'm making a layup.
Let me see.
For
Can I see
$50,000,
that
I'm
list
making a
again,
layup.
Mikey? Can
Pull
you
it
bring
up,
that
Steve.
back up?
You guys, so does this change anyone's answer? It changed mine on an indoor court versus an outdoor court. Because it changes my answer completely.
Yeah, but you're an actual basketball player. So no.
Outdoors,
Mikey,
outdoor.
if your answer is anything but a corner three, you just embarrassed yourself.
This is Jay. Hold on one sec.
All right.
Hey, Jay.
I think I would shoot the top of the key for 500. I think I could make every once in a while I take a nice smooth shot from the top of the key.
That is not a high
once in a
percentage
while.
shot.
That order is just wild because I'd rather shoot from the wing than the top.
Why don't nobody want to shoot the corner for $1 million?
See, for me, I think the wing is
But
the hardest.
I mean, the corner, it should be a half-court shot for $1 million. The corner three should not be $1 million shot.
Yeah.
G asked me this question yesterday. First thing I said is, are we inside or outside? Because that does make a massive difference.
If
I
it's
ain't shooting
outside-
a three-pointer on a double rim,
Oh.
bouncy backboard.
Right,
like,
right.
That's nothing. Outside, I'm shooting a
Mike,
free
wouldn't
throw.
you shoot a free throw for 100K?
Outside, yeah, that's what I would do outside. Inside, I'd shoot a corner three.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would shoot the top of the key shot.
Inside and outside?
Doesn't matter. You know what? Who am I kidding? I have a chance. I'm a gambler by nature. I don't gamble anymore, but in this case, when I have nothing to lose, essentially, I would take the corner three.
I would not walk past $1 laying on the sidewalk. I would not walk past a $50,000 layup.
Now here's
Give me
the
the
thing.
layup.
Here's the thing. All right, what if it's like, say for instance, they give you 75, but you got to make a left-hand layup.
Good. I'm a lefty.
I can make a left-handed layup. Nobody defending me, just standing there. I can put that in. And I was not. Basketball was by far my worst sport.
Left-hand layups, bro.
By far.
Man, listen, you got to jump off your right foot, though.
I'm going to make a layup 19 out of 20 times. I'm going to make a corner three 7 out of 20 times. Give me the odds and the 50,000.
7 is, I will say, now listen, the average NBA player shoots what behind the three-point line? What, 35%?
35 is
but,
good.
But that's not it. But if those guys were just shooting in practice, they'd
Right.
make like 90%.
Right.
I mean, but still,
Right.
it's still a 70-some% chance that these dudes ain't gonna hit it.
No, not in a situation like this where
Just
there's
stand
nobody
there and
defending
shoot?
you.
Now, well, and then what I did say with McNuggets, I said, now you can either do it, or you can have a player do it for you. Right?
Oh, that's
Oh,
a totally
wow.
different
No,
story.
but you have to.
But
do you give him it?
but it has to be a center.
All right. Nikola Jokic, come here.
Well, we picked,
Shoot a corner three for me,
we
buddy.
Picked, and I did.
Well, which one did you pick, by the way, for yourself? Which one?
For
did you
me, for definitely layup. I definitely got a layup. That's a free 50K. I thought about it really long and hard. I mean, I shot about 73% from the free throw line in high school.
I
That's
don't
still not
understand
good.
you guys. I mean, for me, and this is going to sound like a douchey thing because I'm going to sound like a rich guy, which I am far from. But to me, 50K doesn't change my life. Now, I love that 50K. It would make a difference.
It's a free 50K.
But it doesn't change my life.
It's a free 50K.
All right, hold on. 50K put in a nominal account
No.
with a 3% interest.
500K makes. I got to go for at least a 500K.
But you, what did you start with? You started
If
with
you're
nothing.
going to do it top of the key, you might as well shoot the
No, I
million.
would. You're right. I would do
You might as well shoot
I'd do
the
the corner
million.
three for $1 million.
If you're going to shoot a three, God, shoot the shortest
Mike, as a
three for the
former
most
player,
money.
That's embarrassing if you would not shoot the corner three even outside.
No, listen, on an outside court, if it's a legitimate, real outside court, maybe. But even at places like Rucker Park in New York City, they have those double rims and the breakaway, I don't know what it's called, but the back between the rim and the basket.
Yeah.
Shooting outside with the win factor, nearly impossible.
Well.
So,
Inside, I'm chucking threes.
So, by the way, if you just keep $50,000 in a regular BS account, you could have in 20 years $160,000.
What do you mean a regular? The market's been terrible. My 401k that I had on my last job, I've lost like $1 million.
How much will your investment of $50,000 be worth in the future? At the end of 20 years, your savings will have grown to $160,357.
That's if the market's not.
I'll be
tanking at the
dead in
time.
20 years.
Yeah,
I'm spending the 50K.
Says the gamblers. They
I'm
reinvested.
I'm partying. It's party time. Mike, if you and I played one-on-one, what do you think the final score would be?
Oh, you're gonna get smashed.
Oh,
bro.
you
I'm
get
scoreless?
Yeah, probably.
It's not going to finish because I'm going to break your ankle. You're going to
You
fall
don't think
down. You get the DMP
you don't
for
think I could
injury.
back him down though? I got 150 pounds on him.
No, your condition.
And he's not tall. Not that I am.
So
but at least he's not.
Bull, you got the Achilles, bro. You got the Achilles. You can't.
We are playing, and I'm going to score against him.
So
Bull,
we've got Jay versus Tyvis in baseball.
I'm going to back you
and
down.
Mike
You
versus
still
Bull
have to
in
make the
basketball.
shot. You're not confident you
what
can make an
happens when you
open
ain't cut-
layup with
No,
no
no.
one
What
playing you.
I'm not. But I think I could back you down, though.
Yeah, I'm probably not stopping. Yeah, it's like trying to stop
Glory
a bowling
days.
ball from rolling a hill.
All I
These
gotta
guys-
no, the difference is Tyvis really thinks he could
No.
get a legitimate
He
hit.
won't even fight. Has Tyvis played baseball?
No.
Tyvis had played softball. He was terrible, Mike said.
Tyvis won't even foul one
I'm
off.
saying I could score 1 point against Mike in a game.
So
and-
fun. Gee, real quick
And
story.
Jay is a higher, no offense, Mike.
Oh, much higher.
Jay is
Yeah,
a
he played
more
professionally.
accomplished
I did not
baseball
play
player than
professionally.
you are a basketball player.
So Jay actually can't get his equipment to work. So we're not
that's
going to have Jay today.
All right.
So we asked the chat, give us a topic for 5 minutes before we do final takes.
Yeah.
And the topic we are going to choose from my lovely associate producers from
feels like whose line is it anyway?
VII.
come up with a line.
And his question is, would you trade Jared Allen in the offseason?
Well, I mean, that's a stupid question because I have to know what I'm getting back. This idea that anybody is untradeable is dumb.
Of course.
I would trade almost any player
But
at the right price.
I'm in no hurry to trade
I
Jared
have
Allen.
no desire to trade. I'd have to be blown away by the offer.
Why? Why would I get rid of him out of all the people? First of all, you don't have to run anything for him. He's an energy guy. He's a really cool dude in the locker room. People love him. He's intelligent. He's a really
low
low maintenance, a grade A defender. Like him and Evan Mobley. People don't understand the fact that Evan Mobley and Jared Allen can play together. They got like temperaments. They might be out in South Beach. I can tell you two people that ain't out in South Beach tonight. Jared Allen and Evan Mobley. They at home playing euchre or something.
You believe that, Jason?
They'll probably do something, but they won't be. They won't be
not
at
bowling.
They won't be at Fontainebleau.
No, they bowling. They doing bowling. They doing stuff like indoor putt golf.
They're nerds, is what you're saying.
D&D. They're not doing. They don't look like they got the joints coming to the spot.
Without knowing the exact trade, I can't answer the question. But I think we all agree it would have to be one crazy trade for us to want to trade Jared.
They
Allen.
have no cap concerns. They have no
Yeah.
tax concerns. They're in really good shape with their cap sheet. There's really no reason to.
Yeah, I
And who would you
probably
get?
no. Unless you're blowing, unless they're getting some wing player that's so great, I can't say no.
LeBron.
I wouldn't trade him for LeBron. I mean, yes, I would.
You want another topic real quick?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is from Evan419. If you had the chance to end any crime, but could only end it by committing it once, what crime would you pick?
Murder.
Wait, you're saying if Jason commits murder, then murders can never happen?
No more murders ever for the rest of time.
Wow. Well, of course it would be murder. That's ridiculous. Would I murder someone?
To end murder?
End murder of all time. Why wouldn't I?
And
Find
get
some bad person to
And
murder.
get rid of some people that you don't like?
Right. I could kill somebody that's an awful human being, and then there's never going to be any murders again. That's going to be great.
Do we get convicted?
I would be saving society.
But do we have to go to prison for committing murder?
Oh, I ain't going to prison.
You wouldn't do well in prison.
You said it
I
like
think
you
I do
would
all right. Nobody's going to want to do anything to me. I'm not,
Hey, Bull is the dude you turn around. That's how you know. Bull is the guy that you come in. He goes in for like a shoplifting fee, and then all of a sudden he's the kingpin inside. Bull is smacking people up.
He's
got neck
He
tattoos.
got neck tattoos.
I'm down, man.
When did you become the head of MS-13, Bull?
Yeah,
You're not even Mexican.
yeah, I'd be whatever I have to be, man. I would do my thing in prison.
Yeah, he would. Listen, he'd be like, I ain't going back. And ain't nobody else going back. I'm
I
like,
kind
man.
of got like from the neck up, I look a little prison-y.
Yeah, he would be Peter Griffin in prison. He'd be running with an iron fist, bro.
Yeah,
Is there
let's go.
another
I don't
crime
mess
where?
around.
How about robbing a bank? How
Someone
about
said
robbing?
embezzlement. Embezzlement's a good one.
Embezzlement is a good one.
Wouldn't it be great if nobody could get killed ever again? Nobody could be murdered?
Yeah, embezzlement.
Saving society.
There is no.
But again, do we have to go to the electric chair for murdering someone?
I think we
Are you
save
willing
society.
to give up yourself
No.
for the good of society?
No. If I have to die, no.
It's actually a great question.
No, I would not.
No, not would you die, but I think this question about committing a crime to end it for the rest of
That's
eternity. It's a
it's
great
easy
question.
to get rid of murder. Who cares about embezzlement? We get rid of murder.
Yeah, but we'd be rich with embezzlement.
I mean, if there was no murders, like, would our population explode?
It's already
Yes.
explode. We're already overpopulated anyway.
So
Did
it's-
Thanos have a point?
Huh?
Did Thanos have a point?
He definitely had a really good point.
Thanos indiscriminately killed people.
Now Thanos. Now here's the
Who
thing.
would you kill, by the way?
Thanos had all the crystals.
I have a list.
I have a solid list too.
Earl's number one on that list right now.
What's that?
Right. Earl's
Where's
number
that?
Earl's
one.
number one on that list right now.
Get him out of
He
here.
hit me in the head with a shovel the other day. Got rid of me. Killed me off. Killed me off the set.
G, you got a list?
Um,
G's a little nicer than you and I.
a kill
A
list.
kill list.
Oh, he's for sure got a kill. Everybody's got a kill list.
No, I wish things that I can on people like that I'm not gonna get charged for. Like I be wishing like sometimes if I don't like you, I wish you come out and your tires is flat and somebody put sugar in your gas tank. That's not gonna kill you,
No.
but it's gonna be
gonna mess up your life.
It's like you done messed my day up. You done really like some people. I'd be like, I hope your direct deposit don't come today. I know you need that check today and today only.
That's right. You got another question, Mike? Another fan question?
I'm going through. Anthony, anything else?
No other good ones?
Earl's got one. Hold on. This
Go
is
ahead.
from the voice of God, Earl.
I wish that like I'm petty, right? So people I can't stand. I wish like they get stuck in freeway traffic and really got to use the bathroom and they can't go nowhere.
Yeah, that's tough.
There's no such thing as
specifically
traffic.
for
Was that a question?
No, he just wanted
And
to
by
be
the
petty
way,
against people.
whenever I see somebody tweet about traffic in Cleveland, I'm like, you're embarrassing yourself right now. There is no such thing as traffic in Cleveland.
Yeah.
No
And
such thing?
Especially if you live on the west side. You should never, if you live on the west side, you should never be in traffic because the once in a blue moon that there is traffic, there's another way around it, always.
Was that an indirect shot at G. Bush?
Oh, I hadn't really thought about it, but
Yeah, you're right.
Kind of was.
Yeah.
Kind of was. That's 2 shots right now.
Because Earl's
in a row.
question was like that one tweet you read about Dave Cowler. It had nothing to do with anything else. Did Earl say
statement.
he had a question?
He said that was going to be his question, and it was just a statement. It ended with a period.
So in the fall,
Yeah.
do we talk about the gazebo I bought in Kentucky? Do we talk about that?
I remember
What?
that. I remember that.
I bought a gazebo in Kentucky off one of those auction sites. It was like a $1,500 gazebo, and I got it for like $100 off an auction site. But I had to drive down there and get it. That's how cheap I am.
My mom do the same.
How much gas
same
did it
stuff.
cost you to get this?
It was one tank. What? It was like just outside. It was just over the border, just over the Cincinnati, Kentucky border.
Okay.
But I got caught in traffic, and this thing was, it was like an accident, and it was dead stop, and this place closed at 5, and I'm watching the time on the GPS tick up, like your arrival is 4:42, 4:49, 5:03, 5:18. Like, screw it. I got in the berm, and I'm driving up the berm in the minivan. I got the minivan going up the berm. I got to get to Kentucky.
Watching the GPS 501, 5,
I
459. Okay.
got to pick up a gazebo in Kentucky.
Hey, that's
That's
so
insane.
And you know who put it together? Mike. My guy Mike that I gave you, the handyman, put it together for me. So I got like this
Oh, my
really
God.
to put over the. I got this big gazebo to put over the hot tub. Got it and bought it off an auction site
Jason's
in
got a
Kentucky.
hot tub. Excuse me.
Hot tubs really aren't that big of a deal.
Yeah, you can. I'm going house hunting, and they got all these little. I'm like, why you got that hot tub in there? Take that out. I don't want it.
We got one more topic before we get to final takes here. This is
Yeah.
from Reflog. He tweeted it out a second ago. Former UCSS guest. Most overrated song of all time is what?
Oh, this is very easy.
Overrated.
These are the songs that white people get a hold to.
Living on a prayer.
Oh
would
my
be
God.
mine.
Listen, Jimmy Buffett. Oh my God.
I don't
Stop.
like Jimmy Buffett.
Sweet Caroline.
Don't you do it!
Sweet,
Don't you
stop
do it!
it!
Don't
Stop
you do it! We
Y'all-
will fight.
Yeah, I know.
I will lose, but we will fight.
Everybody.
Sweet Caroline.
That was
I
my
like Sweet
song.
Caroline.
No.
That was
listen.
my jam.
That is
in
what
college.
that is what you play at 1:45 and you're looking for somebody to take home. 1:45 Sweet Caroline, you like, give me 1 beer and 1 Sex on the Beach drink. I'm gonna slam these and I'm on this floor and I'm looking to make out. Look, that's the.
At 10, she's a 2. At 2, she's a 10.
Yeah, there she is, right? Go get her some food too. She's gonna pass out.
I don't really have a song.
Hey guys, can I hop in with a bold take here?
Yeah.
Anything by the Beatles.
Oh, that's bold.
Terrible take.
That's
Hey,
risky.
no, that's a very good take.
That's
I don't know
risky.
no songs from the Beatles. None.
I
just
think
know
the
they were-
Rolling Stones as a band are overrated.
I remember, this is funny. So we were in Orlando, and Joe and Dave had gone out to see some Bon Jovi cover band or something at Disney. And they were telling, Joe was trying to tell LeBron about all these Bon Jovi songs at like 9:45 in the morning. LeBron's like, man, I don't give a damn about that. What are you talking about? I don't care about Bon Jovi.
Right, you trying to give me these
Why? I
joints.
don't even know what you're talking about.
Them joints is not it.
It was hilarious.
Hey, Flow Rider, apple bottom jeans, boots with the fur.
Yo, that song slapped in middle school.
Oh,
Can't be going after Low.
it's at every whack wedding, and no weddings
song?
aren't funny. Flow Rider.
It's called Low by Flow Rider.
You've heard it.
Oh, I hate that song.
Oh, thank you. It's horrible.
That song's ass.
There's a couple of songs that they're gonna play. They play California Love at every wedding. California, no, stop moving that
I don't
way.
like the song. Celebrate good times. Come on.
I hate that too.
I hate
Because you
that
hate
song.
to smile, you hate rainbows, and you hate puppies. That's why you hate to celebrate, bro.
What's that?
She said you hate rainbows, puppies, all things good.
I hate rainbows. Nah, who doesn't hate? Who like?
Do you want? Hey, real quick before Jason's final take, Jason, I promise you your final take.
Jason,
It's
go
like
ahead.
30 seconds, so
Okay,
it's
well,
not
I
much of a
got
final
some
take.
answers to
Yeah.
Reflog's tweet. He had a lot of responses, and
Yeah.
we're gonna decide if his song's overrated, properly rated, or underrated. You ready?
Yes.
Stairway to Heaven.
I like it.
It's
keep it.
overplayed.
They played the hell out of that.
Overrated.
They played the hell
Great
out of
song,
there.
but it's overplayed.
Sweet Caroline was the second option.
You
I
already know
will
what
fight
it is.
anyone who tries to take that from me.
You're going to fight Food, Fun, and Premier League football.
Yeah,
He's who tweeted that.
oh my gosh, that's
What's
one.
that?
That's a terrible.
That's who tweeted it.
That's who tweeted.
Sweet Caroline.
He submitted Sweet Caroline.
Sweet Care. We should close the show with it. Bum, bum, bum.
I do
Good
like that
times
song.
That was my
never
karaoke
seem
song in
so-
college.
So good, so good. That's
So
right.
good.
Stop saying it. Stop playing
I've been inclined.
My
Bum,
goodness.
bum, bum,
When
to
that song-
believe it never was.
with me. Hey man, we don't know nobody in our community named Caroline. Times have been always bad. We was on public assistance and we ain't doing bump, bump, bump.
I'll tell you. I think about some of the songs I liked when I was younger that are like really terrible, like Getting Jiggy With It. Remember that song? That song's horrible. The whole song is just him saying, getting jiggy with it.
I mean, we as a community, we've canceled Will Smith. We got him out of there.
Did you see Chris Rock?
Yes.
Did you see? Oh my goodness.
He was in-
haven't
I
watched
had
it
to
yet.
shut it
Oh,
off. after
he
20
went-
minutes.
he-
It was boring.
All I watched was the 7 minutes on Will Smith because it was all over social
And
media.
he went in like it was just like he just telling how he really feel. He really feel like listen, I can't put hands on nobody as a 6'5", 300 plus pound black man. First of all, they might die on accident. Why'd you die? I just smacked you. No, I'm not doing that.
Why'd you die?
Like, second of all, like, they might arrest you on spot. Like, these are rich black people, so they can gauge whether or not you want to, I'm going to press charges or not. No, they got district attorneys out here that press charges for people. Like, yeah, we're going to get him up off the books. Yeah, come on, Will. They got him. Will's done. I don't know if he can come back.
Well, that movie came out that he was in.
No one watched that.
That's true. Nobody did.
No one saw that.
I felt like I didn't want to watch it because he was in it.
Nope.
Isn't that weird?
That's crazy.
And I don't believe it. But first of all, most of the time when people say somebody's getting canceled, they don't actually get canceled. I don't believe in canceling people, even people that I despise. But I didn't watch it, and I think part of the reason was I was like, I don't want to watch Will Smith.
Yeah, no.
It's stupid, but I just didn't watch it.
I would totally watch a Will Smith movie. I would.
No, I'm not. Like,
He made a mistake.
I'm not saying I'm against all Will Smith movies.
Yeah.
I'm
That
just
new one.
saying that new one. I was like,
He was like, hold on.
I don't want to watch it
I'm gonna wait it out. Maybe
because
I'll
it's a
catch it.
movie about slavery.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
Did you do this on purpose? Is this a tearjerker for?
and I was like, I don't want to watch Will Smith in this movie.
Nah, I'm gonna wait
I don't
this
know
out.
why.
I'm gonna wait
was
it
weird,
out.
But
Wait it
anyway.
All right, two things, and then or one thing, then Jason's final take. This is a tease for Monday,
Oh.
and it is not for us. It is for the fans. We have created something I think the viewers of the show are going to love, and we're going to give a prize out on Monday for the first person who reaches back in with this. All the details will be released Monday morning on Twitter. It's a game they're going to play along with us throughout the show. So just know that's coming. Monday, make sure you tune in. You can also do it Tuesday with Jason. You're back Tuesday, right?
As long
There's
as the
a
boat
Jason
don't
version
sink.
on Tuesday. There's a Tyvis version on Wednesday, and then you can play whenever you want. We will explain all
There's a
those
home version.
details.
Yeah, right.
But it took Anthony. This has been in the works for about 2 months now. It took us a while to come up with the right formula, the right presentation.
Okay.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun for you guys.
Okay.
So stay tuned. That's coming. Jason, the floor is yours.
Oh, did you get the picture I sent you?
I got both.
All right. Congratulations to my dear friends Ashley Collins and Jimmy Hanlon on the birth of their first baby boy, Jake. Ashley, of course, was there's little Jake. Ashley, I did a lot of shows with her, filling in for Bruce Drennan over the years. She's been a staple in the Cleveland media, and she has been on maternity and just had her first baby boy with Jimmy Hanlon, the golfer, and congratulations to the happy couple on a beautiful baby boy. All are healthy, all are well. Jake is 7 pounds. I didn't get the ounces. He was early and he was 7 pounds. So thank God he was early, or that could have been bad. That's a big, big baby.
Yeah.
There we
So
go.
congratulations to Ashley and Jimmy on the birth of your son. Very, very happy for you. Can't wait to meet him.
Good job out of you.
That's all.
Shout out to my
Congratulations.
dentist, Dr. Dowd. She just
We
had a
have
baby
breaking
girl.
news real quick,
Congratulations
Bo.
to her.
Congratulations.
We got breaking news real quick. We have a super chat from Michael Ribovich, who says, breaking news, someone please let Bull know he's already lost his bet of the day.
Oh, my God in heaven.
Dang.
It was a day game.
It was a day
Oh, it
game.
was?
You lost, Bull.
Dang, bro.
Costanza! Just go opposite.
Bro.
You really need to do that right now. I'm cold.
And he super chatted
He
it.
is in such a
And
slump. He
He
lost the
super
bet
chatted
before
in
the
just
show
to
was
read
over.
that.
Right. Like, he put the bat
Can
signal
I make
out.
another bet?
Nah. Nah,
What was the score?
I saw
We got 1 minute left. The score. Steve Becker was texting us updates throughout the day. The score,
Told
as
you.
I pull it up here,
I saw Steve texted us something about the score mid-game.
I told you Toledo
they
was
lost by
good.
14, Bull.
oh,
14,
lost by half a
89-75.
Hey, I told you Toledo, man. Hey, man. Yeah, well,
Oh, well, by 1 point. I thought it was 13 and a half.
Bull is drowning on the rivers.
You lost either way, 13 or 13.
Sorry,
and a
I've
half.
cost
It's
you
an L.
money, folks. I'll try better tomorrow. Mike Farron on with us tomorrow from MLB Radio.
Yep.
Anybody else?
Potentially Jay, if he can figure out how to work an
That's
iPhone.
questionable.
yeah, right.
He always has a problem on the road.
He's the only one who can't figure it out.
Yeah. We'll see you on
See you
overtime.
tomorrow.
I'm going to the Bahamas.